Evening, everybody. We are starting about a half an hour early this evening, so we're going to kind of do a slow start. This is the Chaos Agents. My name is Thomas. I will be your GM or keeper. I'll be keeper. Keeper this evening. That's the role I like to call it. As you probably know, the original, the normal, the standard, the founder, the DM, Thomas of this show. I got a haircut over the weekend, and so as the new Thomas, I had to do the same. So I hope I'm living up to his guidance.
I thought you were going to say that's why he's not on tonight, and you are, because of this haircut.
It could be. Maybe that's the reason he's hiding out. Unfortunately, I took my cues from Thomas, and so he got his haircut. I got my haircut. That's the way things go when I'm sitting in this chair.
The first 30 seconds to a minute of this could be the identical normal programming for Tuesday night. Hi, we're the Chaos Agents. This is the cast, and I'm Thomas. Right, everything up to there, identical. Boom.
We got it. I got it. I'm working on it, doing my best to kind of, fill these shoes, take this role, and at some point you will forget the other Thomas, and I will just be this Thomas, and we will be in space forever. Who knows?
Sacrilege.
So tonight, instead of playing D&D, which this is a D&D show, so I don't want to. We're not changing the format. We're just taking a small break from the usual format to play a game called Call of Cthulhu. It's essentially a mystery horror role-playing game. I like it because it's got a lot of the mystery aspect is why I enjoy the most about Call of Cthulhu. Something happened. There's a story that our players must uncover, and usually uncovering it spells their doom. But we'll get to that. Maybe by the third episode, maybe tonight. Who knows how things will go. Last week, when we started our show, we essentially have 4 characters. We introduced our 4 characters to you and set the whole story up and got the story in motion. At the point where we broke the story, they're on the ship. They're on a ship called ARC 105. And what we have is essentially 3 colonists and a member of the crew as our player characters for this story. Our colonists were awoken first, rather unexpectedly, not with protocol. They never should have been woken up, but they were. They discovered that a member of the crew was asleep in her pod, which they call tombs, colloquially in this story. And they brought her up. Something happened to them. Cass Vega, of course. I'm gonna do my best to remember that Cass Vega is they them. So Cass, something happened to them, and Cass does not know, has no awareness of it. But Cass is injured, and the ship is gravely injured. There's a lot of problems with the ship. Our crew is going to try, our new crew is going to try to solve those problems, fix this ship, save the ship, and hopefully save their own lives. And all the other sleeping colonists who are depending upon them, whether they know it or not. At the moment our story ended, or concluded, we had a little cliffhanger where they had finally worked their way into the engineering bay. Cass had discovered that the source of a rampant, insane growth of plant life and vines and mostly vines all over the place, that was emanating from one location inside the engineering bay, which was a severed human arm. They've also discovered interesting things about the plants themselves, but we will learn more about that in a bit. But before we get into our story, we've got a little bit of our pre-story business to take care of. So first of all, there's a script I got to follow, and I'm doing a terrible job. It's always important that we remember that we have some sponsors on this channel, which is always great. We definitely love our sponsors. Nord Games is one of our sponsors, and the crew can tell you more about that. But essentially, you can use a special discount code on their website, which I think is what #chaos. Someone fill me in on that.
So if you go to nordgamesllc.com/3.html, or you shop anything on Nord Games and you use the code chaotic20, you get 20% off any regularly priced items in the shop. They make amazing stuff, including this Nord Games luck deck, which we use in normal D&D circumstances. And they also just came out with a few book releases, one of which is titled Spectacular Settlements, which one of the cast members here might have some more to say about that stuff. Q, come on.
I guess that would be me.
Yeah, roll in, bro.
Spectacular Settlements, which is a great book and a guide for you to create any kind of town, city? Do you need a keep? Do you need any kind of thing like that in Dungeons and Dragons? They have some pre-made ones, which you might see some in there made by members of Quest and Chaos here. I got to put in one from Natural One.
Hey, there we go.
There, yeah, it's Oozlium's in there, but they also allow you to roll something up, or if you wanted to, just use it as a guide to build your own. So it's a great tool. The art is fantastic. Definitely recommend you check it out.
Excellent. One of our other sponsors is, of course, Gordon Biersch. They give the channel free beer. They don't actually send it to our houses, unfortunately. We are all from home. And we are all been remote since the beginning of sometime last year. None of us remember when this started, but we're all remote. So we're having to buy our own beer. That's the bad news. But somewhere at the station, Thomas and Amy are living it up with all the Gordon beers that they can possibly drink. And maybe one day there'll be some left over when we return to the studio to enjoy in studio. And when we continue broadcasting from the brand new and improved Quest and Chaos studios. So thanks to Gordon Biersch for giving Thomas and Amy lots of beer. And maybe the rest of us at some point will enjoy that too. But it's great. We love their product, of course, no question. Also, Birds of Paradise, of course, has been providing us with free dice. And also, we tend to buy a lot of dice from them anyway. We like their stuff. So different members of the group are using their dice. We all love it. And if something wonderful happens, we credit their dice. And if not, we just ignore that and we keep going. Any other sponsors that I have neglected? All right. Moving forward for that, our schedule. We always like to talk about the schedule at the beginning and the end of the program. So this is Tuesday. Tonight is Chaos Agents with myself, Thomas, your keeper. We're running Call of Cthulhu like we do every other Tuesday since last week. Next week, we will be back on Monday doing Ralph and Morty versus D&D. Aaron is running. So Aaron, any thoughts? Is that story wrapping up, or are you guys just right in the thick of it?
They're right at the climactic bit. You know, they're gonna get to the moment where I made Thomas buy me a song so I could use it, and they're almost at that, and it's gonna be pretty exciting. And that's as much thought of that as I put into it.
Excellent. You licensed a song just for the D&D game.
Thomas licensed a song for the D&D.
Is it dramatic?
Yeah, no, it's very it's a lullaby. Yes, you're gonna be fighting something.
Oh, I don't know, man. So I'm thinking, like, is it like monologue that requires cool and sinister overtones, or is it like dungeon crawl music? I don't know.
Real emotions.
Man, you're gonna find out next week.
Yeah, seriously, stop trying to get them to spoil it. Gods.
I'm gonna hear elevator music. I think that'd be worth our licensing fee.
I think so.
Come on.
Human music.
I told you that in confidence, Thomas.
Sorry. So that's Monday's show. Is Rick and Morty versus D&D. Next Tuesday will be Chaos Agents. The four people around me will definitely be here. It could be myself. It could be Thomas. We don't know. It's a surprise. We will find out which Thomas is in this seat on Tuesday of next week. Every Saturday, we're doing what the studio likes to call real Cthulhu. Ezra would call it that, but that's what the studio prefers.
Sorry. What do you mean the studio? Do you mean like
Ezra? He means Ezra calls it real D&D, real Call of Cthulhu.
It's a small studio. Yeah, it's a very small staff. So they refer to the Mask of Nyarlathotep game as real Cthulhu. Ezra just refers to it as, I don't know, his own version of Cthulhu. We've been doing that story now. Tiana, I think we're on episode, like 127 or something?
Feels like it sometimes, but I think we just did episode 49, so the next one will be episode 50.
And I think that the crew at this point has capped one of the 5 different potential problems, so it's going to be going for quite a while. We'll see. But that's what's happening Saturday. It's a great show. We all love doing it. Sometimes we get scared. Most of the time, it's hilarious, hysterical, and exciting and crazy and whatnot. So Saturdays are fun. And of course, there's one other announcement, which was actually announced last night during Aaron's show, is that the next mitten, Quest and Chaos loves to do these mittens, these D&D battle shows with a theme. And the next one will be run by Ezra Denny, who hates Dungeons & Dragons, refuses to run Dungeons & Dragons, and somehow somehow got convinced to do this because it's going to be a mitten, and the contestants, the players, will all be bards. It's an entire mitten. So
I think the conceit of it being a battle of the bards and him being able to make a million music puns, I think that's what talked him into it.
I'm sure he's regretting it ever since, but he has agreed to do it. And that means everyone needs to make sure that you could go on our Discord channel, we have a special mitten sub channel on Discord where our members get to basically volunteer to make characters. And I believe we have 5 are chosen. Is that right?
I believe it's 5. Yeah.
So at random, 5 members will be chosen to make bardic characters that members of our cast will have to play, and they will have a great time. It will be happening sometime in August, usually on a Monday. So whenever Aaron finishes with that dramatic music and the story wraps up, maybe at some point on Monday, we'll announce the actual date for that mitten. So that's the announcements. That's the sponsorship. Before we go back into our story, it behooves me to explain to our D&D loving audience. This is a D&D show, so of course, Call of Cthulhu, different game system. What you need to know for our system is basically this. It's a D100 or percentile system. So everything that the characters do, from their attributes to their skills, are measured from basically a 1 to 100. That's the scale. And essentially, the better someone is, the higher the number of their skill. And when we roll our skill checks, I'll ask somebody to roll their dodge, right? And their dodge might be a 40. And if they happen to roll 40 or less, rolling under their dodge, they're successful. And we have a breakdown as well of half the dodge and a fifth the dodge for even better successes. We'll get to that if we have to. We have fumbles, just like you do in D&D. And in D&D, because your fumble is a 5% chance, there's one number on a 20-sided that's a fumble. We have 5% chance here as well, which are the 5 top numbers on the D100. 96, 7, 8, 9, and 100. Those 5 numbers, 5% chance. Same odds as in D&D, 1 in 20 of having a fumble. And when a fumble happens, bad things happen narratively, we have fun with it. So we also allow for inspiration. And I know you guys are probably giving us tons of inspiration. And in a moment, somebody from the cast will update us on that. But we will use inspiration in this game only for rerolls. So we can't use it to add numbers to our D20. It's just for one single reroll, which could be better, could be worse. We have terms for that in our Saturday game for when you roll worse than you did after using inspiration. And maybe we'll get to that later on. But also, even if the reroll is unsuccessful, as long as it's not a fumble, we have an extra mechanic in this game, which all the characters have a luck attribute. They all have a number of their luck from 0 to 100, or from 1 to 100. If it turns out you need to have a couple, let's say your skill is a 60, you roll a 65, but you really want to succeed. The difference is 5. You can spend your luck, 5 points of luck, to lower your roll down to what you would need it to be. The luck is gone permanently, but in a pinch, in a survival game like this, it makes a lot of sense for our characters down the road as the story gets a little more dangerous. Spend your luck so you can avoid terrible consequences. So I expect that may happen if inspirations are unsuccessful in saving them. One more thing. All the characters in this game have a rating called sanity, which is just a measure of how sane they are. In game terms, if they ever run out of sanity, they become insane, they lose control of their character. That probably won't happen. I don't expect that to happen. But as the characters lose sanity, bad things happen to them. They get temporary insanities. And a problem with sanity, of course, is as you lose it, your skill decreases, which makes it easier and easier to fail. And you start failing more and more and more as your sanity gets lower. So in the beginning, the characters will be pretty sane. But at some point, as the story wears on them, the characters will start to lose it. And we'll see if that mechanically happens. Probably not, but it's an option that's available to us. All right, so I think I've covered all the essential rules for a game of Call of Cthulhu. Before we get into the story, let's cover inspiration. How are we doing with inspiration?
You're looking pretty good. We got 1,500 bits from Squeal the Bard to Thomas, either one, to break the players.
Works for us.
I mean,
Yeah.
he did help Tom workshop all of this, so I can see him wanting Tom to, break us on the rocks.
All right.
Don't shoot the messenger. And that's
So if
it
he
so
helped
far.
him workshop it, why wouldn't he help us? I mean,
Right?
just saying.
I
Sounds
think
like he already helped Tom.
I think he wants his particular small piece of the horror to be revealed, and so he's going to make sure that happens. Just a thought. You guys have any inspiration? Has our audience been helpful, generous?
Do we still have the 4 from last week?
We should have 4 from last week because that usually carries over. We didn't spend all of it last week.
So we'll put that down. That carries over. We're starting with a base of 4. Any other new updates on inspiration?
No, not right now. Oh, wait, no, yes. The Hefner just gave 1,000 to the DM and then 1,000 to the players.
Yay,
All right,
Hef.
thanks, Half.
Thank you,
sir.
buddy.
All right, so I've got 5. The players have 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Keeping checks.
And as we get more, feel free to just interrupt and let me know because you guys might be needing them. So rolling us back into our story, picking up where we left off last time, our 4 characters are inside the ship, Arc 105. It's somewhere in the universe. We don't know where they are. We don't know how fast they're traveling, direction. All we know is there's a lot of problems with this ship. They're presently in what's known as the habitation ring, which is an area of the ship which is reserved for the crew to use in the event that they actually need some workspace or whatnot. They discovered the engineering bay and all the immense, strange plant life spewing out from the engineering bay. Inside the engineering bay, one of our characters, Cass Vega, has landed from the vent, the ventilation shaft, dropped down onto one of the workshop tables to land next to a severed human arm, which is the origin of all the plant life that they've discovered. The room otherwise is dark. Cass Vega has a single pen light from a doctor's kit belonging to our doctor, Dr. Stanley Torrance. Dr. Torrance and John Ralph Macchio are in the room adjacent to this room. It is also dark. Both rooms, the power was inexplicably knocked out as they were trying to do something clever and flip the wrong circuit. So they're in the dark. Cass is mostly in the dark. And in another room over, Chess. So Chess Lorimer is bending down, and the plant life in this room has been creeping out of the 2 dark rooms, moving towards the light in his room. And Chess has crouched a bit and is starting to examine one of the vines as it kind of snakes across the floor and bends up, pointing towards the light. So as we open our scene, I want to start with Chess.
Yeah.
So Chess, you see those vines kind of at your feet, rising up towards the light source. They kind of move and what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of a little snake-like, but it's a slow,
slither
motion. And it seems like the leaves and the petals are really directing themselves up towards the LED lights in the ceiling. As you bend down, I believe you were touching one when we took a break last time.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he was touching one gently to see if it was going to concentrate or have any reaction to him and his presence, but it seemed to really only care about the light and reaching the light. He was on edge to see if it would lash out and try to grab him or something. And then I thought I had relayed that to them, verbally.
Chess will probably tell that to me immediately, but at the same moment, as he's very carefully, our xenobiologist of the group, examining this unusual plant life, we're going to cut back to the room. In the room, Cass, there is light emanating from the room 2 over, where Chess is crouching down. And you have, of course, that Dr. Penlight. And you're standing right on a workshop table. On the table, there's a severed human arm, what's left of it, which seems to be emanating all these vines and branches and leaves and what are all coming from this. And you're standing on a mess of those vines. You can feel them moving and shifting and gliding beneath you. Your feet, you feel almost like you're slowly being, like they're moving around the bottom of your feet as you stand there on this table. The side of your boots, you can feel some motion on the side. And you're looking at that arm. You had a memory, last time of where you've seen that arm before.
Yeah, and I imagine I let out a noise that I will not replicate for the sake of headphone users.
So the others do hear Cass's, it'll be a scream of, how would you describe that response, Cass?
Sorry, there's a siren close to me, but something along the lines of,
Like
not a siren noise. I'm not siren head, thank you. Definitely like a yelp or a very short, sharp shriek.
And the rest of the three, you do hear that. So John Raphael Macchio and Dr. Stanley Torrance, you hear that sound, but also you can sort of hear and sense that the vines beside you are moving and shifting and sliding in the direction of the light where Chess is kneeling down.
Hey, did you hear that?
Are you mocking me? Because I see that you're wearing my name tag.
No, it's on Twitch. Our names are switched for some reason.
Oh no! And we can't get Thomas back to fix it for another hour or so. So
yeah,
here we are.
Is that can I say this? We woke up in each other's suits, but like they just put us in the wrong suits, and we were too polite to really bother about it.
No, we're all wearing the same uniform.
Then I stole his name tag. I ain't a doctor nor a Torrance.
Will you give that back to me, please? Thank you.
I wish I could, but unfortunately, this is going to stay on me as long as that name tag is going to stay on you. So we'll switch it. Maybe, I don't know, if we ever take a 15-minute bathroom break or something.
Yeah, maybe in an hour or so, we'll find a chance to switch those around. All right.
We need to check on Cass.
Cass, there is movement beneath your feet. And you're starting to feel your feet being gripped, like you're sinking into something, but you know that's not correct. If you, in the light from the pen light, you can see there the vines or the plant life you're standing on are moving, sort of just the undulation, the slight shifting about beneath your feet. At this point, I'm assuming Cass has not moved. Is that correct?
No, they're still standing still. Do I think, like, if I shine my pen light down at them, like shaking and trying to recollect myself, does it look like they're trying to like grab me, or are they shifting and I'm sinking down?
It seems like they're moving around Cass's boots. You're not seeing a wraparound. That's not what you're seeing, but more like you're sinking, for lack of a better word, or the vines beneath you are moving away from your feet and moving up to the tops of your boots now.
Okay, well, I am here for a purpose, and after dealing with the slight loss of sanity that I had at the very end there from memories and everything, I'm going to look around with the light and try to locate what I came in here to grab.
All right, give me a spot hidden roll, and let's see what we get.
$16 is a hard success.
Good. All right. So Cass is familiar with the layout. Right next to this this workbench that Cass is standing on, which would be a cabinet maybe over to the left, is where the label, essentially with the whole repair equipment. There's a label on the side of that cabinet there. Cass reaches out. How do you want to move at this point, Cass? What kind of motions are we making?
I'm making little hops to try and like get across the tops of these plants without staying in one spot for too long, to try to get to that cabinet, grab what I need, and basically like chuck it out the door.
Give me a dex roll, Cass.
37 is a hard success.
Okay. With a quick and nimble hop, Cass is able to pull themselves out of this mass of vines over to the edge of the work table in a single jump. Once again, upon landing, Cass, you can feel that the plant life beneath you kind of squishes as you land into it and moves and almost slithers away from your boot. And before it can really wrap around, Cass is able to grab that, open up that cabinet. All right. Inside, there is one whole repair kit where it looks like there should be 4. There's 1 remaining.
I'm going to stare at that for a moment and like remember the memory is like touches the front of my brain for a second. For like, nope. Grab that kit and just like haul ass toward the door.
Give me a sanity roll, Cass.
$46 made it.
All right. Yeah. Perhaps the darkness creeps in, but Cass is able to focus on the mission. There's no sanity loss at this point. No other thoughts other than the fact that Cass wonders where those other 3 kits might be. But you've got one. It comes with, of course, the repair device, a sealer, and the material used to seal. This is going to be, from your training experience, for sealing smaller impacts. Anything larger, you're going to need a machine shop. You're going to have to get metal pieces. You've got the equipment here, but that's a different job. But this is going to be great for smaller impacts, smaller holes, or quick repair. Is the purpose of this particular tool. Cass, give me a luck roll at this point.
70, right on the nose.
Okay. Cass continues to feel the vines moving beneath their feet, the boots, but at this point, Cass is not entangled. This kind of just sinking a bit into the plant life. What's your next move, Cass?
Now that I have the whole repair kit in hand, I'm going to turn toward the light and just like hop my way toward the door, and basically be like, "I'm on my way out. Clear the path, please."
It's going to be several hops to get to that door. So for the first jump, give me a dex roll.
6, sir.
Excellent. I'm not going to make you continue after that. That's going to be an extreme success, I believe, with Cass's dex, right?
Yeah, I have a dex of 80, so that's an extreme success.
Cass very nimbly jumps down, light on their feet, makes a quick pirouette move, spins, jumps again, following up with the original, maybe a triple jump format sort of thing, and is immediately right beside John Ralph Macchio and Dr. Stanley Torrance in the next room. The 3 of you have gotten used to the lack of light here. There's enough light coming from Chess's room, so you can see a Cass, making it out. There's still a lot of vines on the floor here, but there are spaces where the 3 of you can walk if you wanted to get around those vines. What do the 3 of you do?
Yeah, as soon as I'm clear of the door, I'm stepping onto the floor itself and getting away from the vines as far as I can.
I'm just gonna say, are you okay? What was that?
Well, good news, I guess, sort of. I figured out where the vines were coming from. I figured out what they found to eat.
Eat?
And?
It was a person's arm.
I can't hear any of this, right?
You probably could, Chess. There really is nothing else.
Vines eat light. That's what they eat.
Oh, these ones are using human arm as soil, fertilizer, food. I don't know.
Oh my God. This is Little Shop of Horrors. Okay. All right. We got to be on our toes on this one. All right. That's all I know. It ain't going to be pretty.
I have no doubt that is all you know. All right. Let's move towards Chess even.
I was going to say, I'm right here.
Sorry. Still getting used to everyone's names.
Come outside.
Apparently,
he's kind of
John Ralphio Macchio, so
kneeled down a little bit, jotting into the notebook that he had, into the journal he has. 2 feet diameter, focused on light, moving at a tremendous growth rate. He's kind of taking notes in the journal.
You might not want to get too close to those. Just saying.
He looks up.
We're moving towards his room now.
Right. The three of you basically exit this room easily out to where Chess is kneeling down. Of the vines.
I was mistaken, but I was in my own thoughts. What is it rooted on?
A human arm.
Did you see that right?
I'll never unsee it as long as I live.
Live with long netties.
Well, let's make sure that it's as long as it can be. Now, first question, other than that, we'll get to that. Number 1, John, are you actually an engineer? Did you just pull those wires out of the wall and put both of those rooms off?
Is that where the light went?
Hold that
You
thought.
just grabbed in and ripped wires out.
Did I do that?
That is what you did.
I have a terrible memory, but I think that's maybe like the space sickness. You know what I mean? Just kind of like my airborne, but like spaceborne. My stomach's a little upset. My mind's going a little wonky from how God knows how long we've been asleep. All I'm saying is, I apologize for that, but guess what? I can fix it better than anyone else in this room.
Is there any
Cass just raises an eyebrow, like,
Is there any reason for us to stay in this room? We have what we need, right, Cass?
Well, sort of. So there was only one whole repair kit in the cabinet. Sorry, words are a little difficult at the moment. There was only one repair kit in the cabinet. There should have been 4, and I don't know where the other 3 went. But these are really only made for repairing small holes. If it's a bigger hole that we're dealing with, I'm going to need bigger sheets of metal and the machinist shop to try and fix this. We should have the materials there, but until I get a look at it, I don't really know.
We already know that likely somebody went to go take care of this. There is one suit missing, right? One of the space suits.
There's 3 suits missing, aren't there? Oh, there's only one. Okay.
Wait a second. Are you able to discern whose hand that was?
And am I allowing myself to remember, I think is the question on that one.
That's good. Does Cass want to think about that or not? It's up to you.
Cass lets out this high-pitched little whine in the back of their throat and just like, maybe, but I really don't want to think about that.
Didn't you say whose it was and that she recognized whose arm it was last week?
Yeah, but whether or not I'm choosing to remember that right now is a different issue.
Okay.
Repress the memories, you know?
That information might be useful in determining somebody's proficiency in whatever it is they attempted to do, and it will help us get to the bottom of what's going on here and how they wound up with that arm. Alternatively, I may have
Yes, fine. It was my boss. It was the head engineer who was supposed to be the other one woken up. It's her arm, and I don't know what it's doing there.
Cass, roll sanity for me.
Now we're learning something.
Now we have that.
49 made it.
Okay. Yes, you're fine. You're fine so far.
You don't know how it ended up there, is what you're saying. You don't know.
I have. No, not really. I don't think so.
Give me another sanity roll there.
God damn it!
Well,
one's not good enough for just remembering the whole thing.
We can.
Ought 5, motherfucker. Ought 5.
He doesn't remember. Yep.
We can, at least, based on what I've seen, manipulate these objects. This biologic here, with our engineering friend. Maybe shut out some of the lights, get them to walk through a corridor or through certain spaces.
He is very good at shutting them out.
Yeah, I can get a job done.
Hold on. Do we really want them to leave this space? Wouldn't it be better for us to contain them in one spot? Maybe close off some of these doors.
Close off the doors and only illuminate the source room with light that they're in, and then close them in there.
Okay, well, or we can do that. We can keep moving as well. But the question is, where are we going next?
I really want to check out the navigation logs and figure out how long I've been under, which could give us an indicator of when your friend was woken up, how long this series of events took to transpire. But I think maybe the hull breach is probably the most pressing thing.
The hull breach is pretty pressing, but the navigation system is still offline. And if the navigation system is offline, I can't get you those logs to tell us what we're looking for in that. So I think the hull breach is the most pressing matter at the moment to at least figure out how bad it is.
We should get you in one of those suits then.
Yeah, I think so. But it's gonna be a bit of a slog to get to where they said, where the computer system said the hole was. Sorry, I'm a little disoriented at the moment.
You look a little
okay.
stressed.
I understand.
So what's the plan?
On the way to the hull and the equipment to fix the hull, we should probably see if we cross anything else of note. And for that, we rely exclusively on Cass because I don't know what I'm looking at or for.
So it sounds like we're going to be heading forward further with the repair kit to go to the spot where the system said the hull breach was.
We have to grab the suits first, yeah?
Yeah, and we'll probably want to have all 4 of us in suits just to be safe as we get closer.
Oh, yeah.
You've got 7 suits available, so that shouldn't be a problem, and 1 repair kit, so which Cass will use. And as Cass, as you're aware, of course, the suits can be a little bit cumbersome here in the spin gravity, but as soon as you guys move into the center of the ship, which is 0G, anywhere else you're working, they're just like a second skin, at least to you. You're used to working with these things. And they're actually, here in the future, these suits aren't that bad. They're pretty lightweight, a thin material, double layered and whatnot. Keeps temperature in, keeps problems out, has a little, each one has its own little, life support system, airflow system. They're all networked together. So you can actually talk to each other while you're in separate suits. You don't have to worry about that. You have little cameras, little HUDs in there. You can communicate with each other from the inside of your cameras or your helmets. So it's all, we're future tech here. Everything is much more cozy and easy to work with. So,
all right. May I have my scalpel back, Cass?
Oh yes, absolutely. And I'll pull that out of my pocket and hand it back to him, handle first, along with the pen light. Thank you for letting me borrow those.
Thank you.
So for our purposes, the 4 of you each select a suit. Cass will, of course, get one that was assigned to them. It takes a little bit to get used to moving in these. It's a lot stiffer. Cass shows you how to attach the helmets and detach the helmets and whatnot. Once you're in, there's a quick, almost like a syncing method where you link to each other's suits. You can talk to each other with your helmets on. It's you got it worked out. Comms are good. Cass then guides you guys up and out through the one of the tunnels that leads toward the center of the ship. And once you're, of course, away from the spin gravity, it becomes much easier to move. You're in the 0G, which is Cass's environment. The doctor is pretty good with it, but the other 2, they're very careful. It's hard. You can't stop your momentum very easily in the 0G, but you're back in the center of the ship. Are you wearing the helmets or not?
I would, yes.
I think it's wisest to go ahead and just have the whole thing on just in case we find something that got breached earlier than we anticipate.
Good call. So there's no more issue, of course, with smelling anything unusual. The suits that you're wearing has a nice, has fresh air, good environment inside your suits.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Once we're here, what's the interface look like for us to talk to each other? Does something pop up on the screen on our HUD? What is it?
So you'll be able to see there's a kind of a camera off to the side of your vision, kind of up to the right. Then you can choose whose camera you want to see. Only one person's video it pops up on your screen. And there's a little controller inside your hand, which is relatively something you're used to.
Would I be able to see if any of the other crew members or the one other crew member has their suit on, and would I be able to see them through that interface?
You basically, you guys scroll through the menu options for the interface. You'll learn that there's 2 different ways you can view the HUD. You've got one, it's only just one screen. So you can look at and you see the person's face who's wearing a helmet from your team, or you can switch to see their view. So there's a front-facing camera, so you can see what they see.
All right. Well, while I'm taking a long time behind John Ralphio, who's working on the 0G very gingerly as an old man, the
young heart floats away.
Grab him. I kind of start cycling through to see if I can go to the next person, and see if I get the view of Andy.
Going through, give me a luck roll.
Here we go. Nine.
Ooh, nice.
Out of 80? Yeah.
Well, as it happens, it appears that the suit is still broadcasting. As you scroll through and see everyone else's image, you come to another image that you don't recognize. It's a shot. You see a the black background of space, billions of stars, and somewhere off, just out of view, just on the left side of the panel, there's a round object, a large round object just out of frame. The camera is not moving. It's staying stationary. You see what looks like outer space. You're assuming it's from somewhere outside the ship.
Yeah. Cass?
Yeah?
Switch your channel, if you could. Maybe everyone wants to do this. Take a break here. Switch your channel till you can see space.
Oh.
Oh no. And I'm gonna reach up and start flipping through, like holding onto the ladder with one hand, with my kit floating next to me, and start cycling through.
And the controls are actually in your glove, so you don't have to touch your.
This is just easier to visualize.
How do I do that?
So yeah, Cass tells you guys how to operate the changing of the camera. It's a pretty simple function. And then Cass, you see the image. Cass, give me an intelligence or idea roll on what you're seeing.
Intelligence, okay. 55, made it.
You believe that looks like the giant collector off the left of the camera image. It looks like the dish of the giant collector is what it appears to be viewing.
Inside our HUD, can I get a proximity locator on where everyone in the room is? Do I see like Dr. Torrance is standing next to me, Ralph Macchio is across from me? Would it show me on the HUD a blip off the side?
And unfortunately, there's no kind of GPS function for this.
What?
Just look at their cameras, but you can't where they are in 3D space.
Okay. So I recognize that as being like the very front of the ship that we're seeing.
It appears to be that giant collector on the front of the ship is what you're seeing just at the edge of the frame.
Cool view of space. What am I seeing?
That's the magnetic collector. That's on the very front of the ship.
Your crewmate is not moving.
Yeah. I think we know why.
Andy.
Why were they out there, though?
Probably got sucked out.
Probably for the same reason I'm heading there now. There were 3 hull repair kits.
Yes. Do you want to toggle the view on Andy's suit?
No, but yes. So I'll flip it around.
Why?
Wait,
do we know you're about to...
How can you toggle the view?
You can turn it around to look at the other person's face, or the view of their camera. So you have a camera pointing at your face and one pointing out. So yeah, I'm going to toggle it to flip around and look at her face, and I'm going to regret this. I know it.
Neat trick, and he's
the interior of the camera. The helmets have an exterior light source, of course, that illuminates in front, but on the inside, there's no reason for a light, really. It's a dim light, mostly coming from outside sources. You see Andy's face is in shadow. There's no motion. Eyes look dark. Her mouth is open, and a gasping, pained expression that simply doesn't move, doesn't respond, frozen in space. Give me a sanity roll, Cass.
$48, made it.
Okay. It's tough. You will, however, lose 1 point of sanity for seeing your dead friend. Cass, you have a memory. It feels to you like another time, maybe the last time you saw Andy. There's a glass between the two of you, a curved shaped glass where you're laying down. Andy is over you, looking at you from the other side of the glass with a sad, pained expression before she leaves.
Is there a physical pain associated with that memory? Like I'm in the tomb with the wound?
There is a physical pain in your body. Your memory, you remember that. You remember being in great pain and Andy looking at you from the other side of the glass.
Andy, what did you do? I'm gonna like push away from the others to the other side for a moment, just to like, because I'm crying and just like not able to deal with this at the moment.
I'm gonna follow her. I'm gonna look there and say, "Stay here. I'll be right back." And I'm gonna jump off and follow.
Okay, Dad.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the dumb one for going off and separating the team. Well, hopefully they come back.
I go and I try and catch myself next to her.
Tears kind of collect in your eyes in 0G, which is an unfortunate process where you have to wait and hope that when you blink them away, they float into the helmet. And the lining kind of collects the precipitation.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna pop the helmet off when I'm away from the others and just like wipe at my face, try to get it off my face.
And Chess kind of sees little, I don't know, he sees particles. He's like, oh, that's cool.
Do I get up to her over there?
You make it up to her. To them.
Oh, them. Excuse me.
It's okay.
I get to them. Cass, are you all right?
Not really. No, not at all, actually. Andy is floating out there. She's dead, I think. She looks like she died in horrible pain. And I remember being in the tomb and looking up and seeing her looking down at me. And I'm pretty sure it was after I got hurt, because I really hurt in that memory.
I'm so sorry for your loss. Clearly, she was close to you, yes.
My sister, or close enough.
That's hard. It's gonna be hard to continue what we're doing here. But we will get her body back. And if you'd like, I will do it. So you don't have to see it. I have some 0G training. I can go out there and I've seen many, and I pause. Many people die in my career.
She wouldn't want anyone to risk their lives to get what's essentially an empty shell. So if we can, then yes, but otherwise, she's with her namesake. She's out among the stars.
Let's hope that none of us join her.
Yeah, I'd much prefer to avoid that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. You are going to help get us through this. Without you, we cannot do this. You have us here, so whatever you need, you let us know.
I will. Thank you. Thank you. Let's... Boss always said tears were kind of useless, but I think she'd understand.
I've shed many of them. I get it. Not useless at all. It's life that's useless. And I turn and I push back after them.
And I just look at him for a moment and like, then why do we try so hard to save it? And I'm going to push back after him.
Was their comms open?
I had my helmet off.
Mine was on. I didn't take it off. But I don't know if I was pushed to talk or if it was open.
I think for the purposes of our story, the rest of you could have heard the conversation.
So when they start floating back, Chess looks at Ralph and like pretend like he didn't hear. He kind of nods his head like, no, just no.
Is it a safe environment to remove the helmet right now or no?
It still is.
Okay, so then as Chess tells me that, I'm just gonna pop off the helmet a little bit and put a hand inside. Oh my God. Oh my God. I miss my daughter. I miss my daughter. All right, okay, all right. I'm not gonna say...
Oh man, and as I land back with him, I'm gonna pop the helmet back on, refasten it as it's supposed to be. Like, right. Well, We still have a little ways to go.
The four of you begin your for lack of a better word, ascent, even though there really isn't an up, down, or whatnot here in 0G. You're moving in a forward direction towards the fore of the ship, down a very long circular tube, lined with pipes and conduits and other things on all four sides, just running down the entire length of the ship. This is the spine of the ship. It's massive, and it's easy to navigate. There's only two ways to go, forward and back. As you do float forward and cast bounces kind of from side to side and diagonals traveling, there's handholds along the sides if you need them. And of course, a couple you probably do. You'll pass different aspects of the ship going by, just doorways, other portions. Essentially, the habitation ring is where you were. You'll pass another area where there's essentially 3 tunnels leading to one of the other colony rings. And you'll notice, of course, those tunnels shift and turn as the rings circle and orbit, keeping the spin gravity going. The 3 entrances turn beside you. Moving forward a little bit more, there's another opening which appears to be off to your left. Maybe it's the front, who knows? It's hard to navigate and orient yourself. Cast notes that this is one of the airlocks. This is the 4 airlock. If you go here, if you need to exit the ship, this will lead out of the ship. But of course, you're heading to the front. You keep going further and further, and eventually the front narrows. As far as you're concerned, actually the large collectors and pipes here are very thick, making the space appear to be much smaller. And there is a circular door that leads to the front of the ship. There's several red lights flashing on this door. McCass indicates as a warning. You remember from training, this means essentially there's a problem with the atmosphere behind this door.
All right, I'm going to take a moment to check all of their helmets and make sure they're properly attached, just as like a last check before saying, okay, the atmosphere on the other side of that door is probably wrong somehow. I hesitate to guess what the atmosphere is like over there, since so far everything has been just weird. But yes, we should be. And I'm going to check Dr. Torrance's helmet last and pat it gently on the side. We should be good.
Chess, it's kind of holding on to something, bracing for suction as the door opens, but he tries to fasten his journal into whatever sort of strap harness might be available to secure it against him.
Yeah, these several pockets and Velcro straps allow you to attach tools to your suit. It's very easy to find something. Cass, roll your education for me.
51.
Which is a success, right? Okay. Cass remembers from training, of course, the center of this ship is one long continuous tube. And of course, if there is a problem, if there's a hole or a vent, this entire area can be vented. It'll take a while, but this is the problem. So what you are trained to use, Cass, are these little portable, what do they call those? Like divers would use. Like a portable airlock, essentially is what you guys are trained to use, where you attach it to an area outside of a door, you create a little airlock, and then so the whole room wouldn't be evacuated, just that small portion that you're standing in. It's a portable that you can expand, attach, contrast, and carry with you. You don't have one of those. You don't see one around you.
That I wouldn't have one in my suit.
It's a little bigger than that.
It has to encompass the entire door, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'll be a little portable airlock that you would attach to the door, and then it has enough room for the 4 crew members to stand inside of it, seal up, then open the door, so that we wouldn't vent the entire room.
Are there any gauges on the door to tell you pressure, air, anything?
We've got some warning lights that the 3 of you don't know, but Cass has been trained to mean that there's a problem with the atmosphere behind the door.
Would there be anywhere nearby where one of those portable airlocks are?
Most of that equipment would be stored at the habitation ring. Maybe someone moved it. Maybe you forgot to get it. It's not nearby.
I forgot to get it because I didn't know that needed to be a thing.
My apologies.
What's the problem, Cass?
Something slipped my mind that I needed from the habitation ring. We're supposed to, and I'll explain the concept of the portable airlock to them, and that I don't have one with me. Is there any like a climbing apparatus type of thing? Not obviously not that exactly, but like a climbing harness that we could like strap to something else, so that if we open it and it's vented, we don't like fly through.
Give me a spot hidden roll, Cass.
I find it hard to believe that all of these rooms would come equipped with cameras.
13, which is a hard success.
Nice.
Cass, tucked away and around some of these long tubes and pipes and conduits that are traveling the length of the ship, there's some sort of gray duffel bag that's been tucked there, left behind by someone.
Okay, I'm gonna see that and just like put the whole repair kit tucked into another corner, and then just like shove off in that direction to grab it.
You shove off there, stop yourself, reach over. The duffel bag is what used to hold one of these portable airlocks, but inside that bag, there's a bunch of other things. There's harnesses and ropes and ties, some patch material, other things that would be useful for repairing or improving or tying down the portable airlock. So while you're missing the airlock, you've got some other binding equipment, ropes and whatnot you can at least use for the rest of the party.
Okay, I'll bring the duffel back and like put it to float in between all of us, and pull out like a climbing harness and start stepping into it and putting it on myself. So I don't have one of the portable airlocks, but there are harnesses that can keep us from, if it is vented and there's a suction going on, so we don't get ripped out directly out into space.
Okay.
And I'm going to finish putting it on and like clip the rope into the ring at the center of my chest, and then pull out another one and like start handing them around. So ever been rock climbing on Earth?
You guys want to
actually
tie to each other? Do you want to attach to an object? What's the plan?
I turn to the engineer and ask him.
I say we all latch onto each other. And we have a second latch attached to the ship. We gotta have multiple backup systems, otherwise we're getting screwed, and we're gonna become another mishap.
Is right, because I've not been in space, but I have been on several archaeological digs, which means that climbing, strapping myself, and belaying is not something I am unfamiliar with. And I don't think we should tether to each other in the unfortunate event that someone is jettisoned violently through that airlock. I think all...
What do you think about somewhere in between? Because, I mean, this is 0G and not, rock climbing on Earth. What if we partner up? Two people attached to each other, and that pair attached back to the ship.
Here's my...
I don't like it, but I don't like it at all.
All right. Then what about if each of us... Is there enough line for each of us to be twice strapped to the ship? One for security and just one that's going to allow you, that your base normal strap to the ship.
What happens there is you start to attack at the integrity of the object you're tethered to.
Well, he's an engineer. He should be able to tell the integrity.
Well, only guessing. I got to see the blueprints on this ship, but I feel like this ship was built to take the force of at least 4 astronauts hanging on the side of it, due to its size alone.
Is that standard operating procedure?
No, but it's a guess under the current predicament that gives us no other freaking choice.
I mean, if we each want to be individually strapped to the ship, that may be the wisest thing. I just don't think we should be very far from each other at any given point in time.
I like having a safety. So I like the idea of 2 people strapped to each other and both strapped to the ship.
How about we have one person on the inside who doesn't go out?
I was just about to make that recommendation, because who among us would tell the story of the crew jettisoned into the black of space if none of us are alive to tell the tale? I volunteer myself as tribute, scribe, and otherwise gentle observer
I actually think it might be more prudent to have Cass wait back.
Hey,
They are the
why?
one who is most necessary.
Not that I want to contradict you, but there are 2 other hypothetical crew people on board that I might be able to rouse from their slumber if you befall an inevitable demise.
I think there may only be one at this point. I haven't seen any sign of Peter, but having an arm ripped off, unless you have someone there to staunch the bleeding, seems like a fairly fatal wound to me, though I'm certainly no doctor.
Unless he cauterized it immediately.
So,
Sorry.
am I reading this accurately? The person floating out there in the abyss is a different person than the arm's owner?
Yeah.
What the hell happened here?
I don't fucking know.
And
But
you want to be
I'm-
trapped inside with it alone, Chess?
But I am terrified to find out, but I think that finding out is the only way to save everyone on this ship, ourselves included.
Well, decide who's going to stay behind if that's what you want to do. But
I
I'll
don't think
strap to John Ralphio Macchio. Click.
I guess you're going, Ralphio Macchio. Cass, I do not have any delusions of grandeur or altruism behind this facade. So I don't know if you want to rock, scissors, paper it or roll dice, but I will volunteer myself to stay back.
No, I'm
How
the
heroic.
one. Hold on, I'm the one best suited for the ship systems. Not Machio may know. Machio may know the engineering a little bit better than I do, but I know these ships, so I should not stay back, I think.
I agree. And I will see you on your return. Godspeed. God bless. Please be safe. Is there anything on my person you need? Any extra tooling? Anything you want me to watch?
Your balls. But it seems like you've misplaced those, haven't you, Chess?
Make sure that you secure yourself to something in here, because if that's vented and we get pulled and you're not secured, you'll get yanked through with us.
I will use my belay lining skills to tie the best knot to something that I know to be attached to the main portion of the ship, while also holding on to it.
As far as things that you have that might be useful, I don't think any of us have much of anything besides the good doctor and my kit. So
John's
I
got
have
a
my med kit.
John does have a wrench.
Yeah, I forgot, but I totally have that.
It's all about the tools.
So just for my purposes, it sounds like Cass and John are going to be the ones to open the door and go through. Is that correct?
I was going to go with.
Okay. It sounds like the 3 of us are going, and Machio and Torrance are strapped together, and Cass is on their own.
Wait,
Right.
quick question. Is this like this airlock we're trying to go out of? Is it a little like damaged? It's not perfect condition, or it's like 90%, you know what I mean? Functional?
Give me a spot hidden, John Ralphio Macchio.
All right. Boom. That's 57. Spot hidden. Uh-oh. That's 45.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Okay, yay. No, oh, no. I'm going to half-ash this one. I feels like now's the time. It looks good. Looks good, team. Just on the off chance it's not, though. Are there other airlocks in this place?
What do you mean?
Just any other airlocks, just in general. I mean, just so we know all of our exits. Or use, whatever. Let's go. This airlock looks fine.
Cass, is there another way into this room?
That's a good question. Would I know of any other ways in or out of this area?
From Cass's training, this is the only way in, other than a potential exterior entrance, but that you're not aware of. Maybe there's something on the outside. But you've been just trained. This is how you access the front. This is the door that accesses the front of the ship. As
far as I know, this is it. There might be a way in from outside, but I don't want to go exploring that.
So are we ready?
Oh yeah, we're going out this.
All right. Everyone is latched to where they want to be. They've tied themselves secure to the ship. They've tied themselves to their buddies. Cass Vega will be the one to open the door, correct?
Yeah.
Wait.
Wait.
And then, yeah, as John Ralphio Macchio. Hold on. He takes off his name tag. I believe this is yours, doctor. And then,
That way, if they find my body, they know who it is.
yeah, I know the feeling. By the way,
If
Alright.
you for doing this.
that's anything you want me to dictate before this moment.
You should have come with us. Open the airlock.
Let's do this, and I'll reach up and like tap in the code to open the airlock, like watching to see if there's anything weird about the airlock as it's opening.
Yeah, so after you tapping in the code, the door flashes a couple times a warning flash, requiring you to tap it in a second time.
That's
All right.
good, right?
Well,
fine?
that means that at least one of the redundant systems is still online, and it knows that something's wrong over there, and I'm in my right mind before typing this in, which I'm probably not, but sure. And type it in again. Get ready.
Cass types in the second time, changing the color from red to green. There's a turn latch you have to do as well. So Cass manages it and then slides the door. As soon as the door begins to slide, you can feel, thankfully it's not like you're being sucked through a vacuum, but you can feel the air is starting to move towards this door a bit. There's a slight, slow pull. Nothing dramatic at this point. There's a slight, slow pull towards the door. Cass, do you open all the way, part of the way? What's your plan?
I am going to open it enough. So I have control over how fast it opens and how much it opens.
You can stop it if you want to.
Okay, I'm going to open it like part way and like slide down so I can look through and see what I can see before I commit to opening it completely.
You're floating, of course, so it's, there's no down or up, but you kind of slide in to look.
Yeah, basically just like pull myself to the side of the door that's open and look through.
Cass looks into the room, and only Cass can see at this point because the door is like partially open. Cass, give me a spot hidden roll.
13 is a hard success.
Okay. Quick glance of the room, Cass takes in the entirety of the. At the center of this room is a very large device that Cass remembers is the magnetic field generator. It's situated right in the middle, abutting the front of the ship. It's a massive structure that dominates this room, and there's space all around it. Now, the first thing that catches Cass's eye is the portable airlock. It's pressed up against the side of the front of the ship, kind of almost like it's being glued. It looks like it's a piece of stray duct tape stuck against the wall. It's where it's sitting right there. And it's a slight movement coming from that portable airlock. It kind of shimmies a little bit with whatever's going on. There also are floating in this room a couple of toolboxes you notice immediately that are left in this room. And you see some other odds and ends and equipment, a couple of pieces of metal floating about. Maybe it's repair pieces, who knows? There's something else that you recognize but can't see off to your right. A black object, but it's hard to see at this point. You see no people or plants or other life in this room.
Okay, I'm going to relay back to them what I see, and at a glance, it looks like the portable airlock is being used as kind of a temporary patch on the side of the ship. I would guess that's where the problem is.
Before you are being pulled slowly towards the door. The air is moving in that direction.
How strong is the pull?
It's a light pull at this point.
All right, are we ready for me to open the door the rest of the way?
Well, does it look like a patch that does it look like a tear that you can fix with your little patch thing that you have there?
So there are pieces of metal in there of the sort that I would want to have anyway. So I have the material there and the patching material that's in the duffel bag, right?
You do. It's almost like a glue or foam gun that you guys would use to seal up these things.
Mm-hmm.
They're smaller holes.
So
the metal work is for larger repair jobs, and there's a couple pieces floating in this room.
With the training that I have and seeing the size of the area that's being covered by the portable airlock, does it look like something that I can fix with what I have on hand?
You don't know until you've actually studied it.
But I know how big the portable airlocks are. relative to me and to the ship. So if it's not bigger than the portable airlock, I should be able to get a sense of size.
I'll put it this way: you need to look at it better before you can make a decision. If you've got enough, if you know from the doorway, you can't tell.
All right, I might have what I need, but I have to get a closer look before I can make that call. So I don't know.
Before you feel the ropes go tight, that it's attaching you to the side of the ship.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So the ropes that you've secured yourself to the ship are now tight. You've been pulled enough at the end of the rope. You feel it all.
We have another place that we can attach in there.
There should be like a handhold just inside of the door, maybe. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple of places just inside the door.
Okay, and you ready, John?
Can I what?
I said, are you ready to go in? I'm going to detach us here so we can move in.
I was born ready, Doc.
Okay. However long ago that was.
Yeah, and I'll pull myself down and detach as well while clipping, like reaching through the door and clipping to a spot that I know.
So I'm not going to make Cass roll. She's got enough training in this to maneuver. They've got enough training to maneuver around, grab it, change the attachments. Cass is attached to the inside and secured very quickly.
Is there any way that I can latch close enough to the door to shut it emergencyly?
So Chess knows you can essentially adjust. You can adjust the rope like you were rappelling. Just enough to get the right length. Just stop it at the door. If you want to do that, that's fine.
I'll be here waiting for you guys when you return.
Okay.
And he's got his hands braced like he's gonna do a push-up through the opening in case he's like pulled through.
Gods. All right, I'm gonna open the door. The rest of so I'm secured on the inside, and I'll go ahead and open the door the rest of the way.
Door's all the way open. Everyone feels the tight pull, and there's a sense of motion towards the hole or towards the hatch. It's not overwhelming, but you can tell you're being pulled in that direction. Dr. Torrance, do you release yourself and John Rothman?
Well, I had wanted to do that before she opened the door. I had wanted to release and try and get in.
All right, Dr. Torrance, I'm going to have you roll your 0G, but we're going to do a little call it Cthulhu mechanic, something called disadvantage. John Ralph Macchio attached to you, it's going to be more difficult to maneuver.
Okay.
Here's the process we use when you're doing disadvantage. Deanna?
If I may, I would say that as someone who's more experienced with 0G, after I got myself connected, I would turn to help the person who isn't experienced with 0G.
Cass will be there as a backup if this goes poor. I'll let Cass make an attempt to secure the two of you. So we're going to be rolling basically your percentiles.
Let's just float away.
The 10th die we rolled 2 times. So usually we roll this 2 different 10s.
Can we stop
55.
listening to Aaron when he makes these strategic suggestions?
Okay, first of all, this was a team decision. I said 1 per person as the main idea.
Extra 10, and whichever of the 2 10s is the worst one, that's what we go with.
So I rolled a 55. My 0G is 45.
Right. Is 55 the worst of the 2?
Yes.
Okay. Now you can use inspiration if you want and re-roll the whole batch.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah, let's do that.
He would have to re-roll again at disadvantage, or would he take the lower one?
With disadvantage again.
Oh, okay.
Do over.
Is it worth it, or do you want to spend the luck?
That's 10 points of luck. That is a lot of luck all at one go.
You had 80 before, right?
Yeah.
He's starting out 20 more than I start with.
Starting off with 10 more than I started off with. But
Yeah.
luck gets really important really fast.
So what's the result here, Doctor?
Yeah, let's use the inspiration. Well, it is disadvantage, and I got to do it again.
Yeah.
Wait, can't you always? Oh wait, well, I mean, we have
Usually we keep the better one when we roll at disadvantage and use inspiration. Just saying.
It's his game.
We have
I
a lot
know.
of bits. I feel like you could do it, and then worst case scenario, we could see if it needs luck. I mean,
Well, I don't know. We'll give it a go here.
Duke Fleeg just gave us 500 bits just to use it for this to the players. He said
Beat me by-
use it.
even by a half
Okay.
second.
Thank you, Duke. Thank you, Your Grace.
Thank you, Your Grace.
89. It got worse, much worse.
You rolled an
Worse.
8.
And it's
You
out
rolled
of
an
luck
8.
range.
That
Yep.
Here's what we're
was.
going to do. Before the doctor and John lose their footing and go tumbling, the doctor has one more opportunity if you choose to. We have some mechanic in Cthulhu called pushing your luck or pushing your roll, where you're going to use a different skill to solve the problem instead of your 0G, as long as you can justify it. If you can justify another skill that would make sense to fix the problem.
I have very high dexterity. Let me see where it's at.
You'd have to narratively tell me what it was the doctor will do to try to save himself. You still roll disadvantage.
We're not very good at that here.
Just as a note, if you fail after when you kind of push your roll, it's like fumbling if you fail. It's a much worse result than just a regular failure.
Okay, well, let's see. Library use isn't going to come in handy here. Listen won't. My medicine won't. 0G, no. Survival, no. Spot hidden. I could do something there.
If you want to, you could say that the doctor notices a handhold, which he grabs as he flies through.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. My dex is 60, so that's what I was thinking. As I'm going through with John Ralphio Macchio, I wanted to see if I could spot something to grab onto and save us.
So here's what happens. The doctor and John move forward, but the two of them, it's chaos. You're pulled in the wrong direction. You were aiming one direction, and Ralph pulls you another. And the current, as you've lost your way. You've lost your handhold. You reach and try to spot something that you can grab a hold of and secure yourself. You're rolling at disadvantage because you're going to have to deal with the weight of John pulling you in. But if you roll disadvantage on your spot hidden, let's see if you can grab something and save yourself.
It's 40. No, sorry, it's 69. God damn it.
And your spot hidden,
Not that good. I think it's only 60. Let me check. My spot hidden. No, it's 75.
Nice.
Boom.
well, the doctor sees a handhold, grabs a hold of it, and pulls, and then feels the weight of John Ralph Macchio pulling him in. The line goes taut. The doctor holds on, hangs there. Cass moves in quickly to grab John, secure him, taking the weight off the doctor, and allowing the doctor to then work his way down the handholds and enter into the room.
Chester silently thanks his common sense as he witnesses this atrocity.
For the moment, you're fine. What does the group want to do at this point? Where do you want to go? You still need to hold on to something. You're worried about.
We have flashlights on our helmets that we can turn on. And
you have illumination from the helmets if you want to turn that on, bright or regular.
Yeah, I'm going to take kind of regular and kind of look around the room and assess what's going on.
As far as the doctor's concerned and John's concerned as well, you've never seen this room before. You don't know what you're looking at. There's a very large mechanical construction, spherical in shape. Looks like something of a generator, maybe, in the middle that dominates the entire room. It's a dome, round-shaped room, a spherical-shaped room. What grabs your attention are two things. You can see where, of course, there's some sort of like a collapsed tent is the best analogy we've got, pressed up against the wall near the front of the ship. There's also a large spherical object kind of tucked away off to the corner in the dark.
I kind of want to focus on that with my light.
Your lights hit it, and it doesn't really reflect any light. It's a dark, not sphere, it's cylindrical. It's a cylindrical shaped object, rounded at the top and bottom, and it looks maybe like a big pill is the best way you describe it, like a really big, thick, fat pill that's maybe about 4 meters in diameter, and then about maybe 6 meters long.
That's huge, right?
No,
I think.
who knows?
Cass, do you know what that is? Is that supposed to be here?
I'm going to look over at it. Does it look like anything I recognize?
Cass, give me a spot hidden roll when you peer over at that.
$42, just made it.
Okay. It is an object that you are entirely unfamiliar with, but then roll sanity.
Good luck, Cass.
91.
Oof.
Ooh.
Yes, you have
It's
a,
not a fumble.
Inspire.
It's not
Inspire.
a fumble.
Inspire.
Yeah, let's inspire
Yeah.
that.
Toss that.
so
Okay.
I'm going to throw the inspiration on that roll for story reasons. Cass has a memory. As she sees this object, she remembers this object. They remember the object. Cass, Mark, you lose 2 sanity.
Fuck.
And
Okay.
and this object that you see, there's a purple. It's glowing. It's glowing in your mind. You see a strange purplish green glow. It lights up, and no one knows why. You hear some screaming. You hear some terror as you see it glowing brighter and brighter and brighter, and you're back in the present. It's dark.
Is she the only one who saw that vision?
Only Cass sees that.
Oh.
Do we notice the change in her or them? Excuse me.
You probably noticed something's bothering Cass.
Guess you're gonna snap out of it, or what's up with you?
Glows. Can you see it glowing?
That's not a good sign. No, we cannot. Wait, Kel.
Chess tunes in to get a picture. No illumination here.
Yeah, Chess, through your HUD, you're looking at Cass's video from her camera, looking out at what Cass is seeing. It's a dark cylinder, pill-shaped object. There's no light coming from it.
It glows. It glows a purple and a green, and it's wrong. It's wrong in a way that I can't describe.
Just another thing that is wrong in all of this.
It doesn't belong in here. It's not part of the ship. It's not part of this. I don't know what it is, and I don't know where it came from. And I'm gonna look at it, and then look at the area covered by the portable airlock. And do I think it came through there? Would that be like a reasonable guess to make?
Roll sanity for me, Cass.
Son of...
As she rants that and says that, you hear Chess come in and whoa! We have a very smooth structure, clearly not originating from this ship. We have to bring it aboard.
Cass,
No, we don't. I rolled a 25, which is a hard success even with my current sanity.
Cass doesn't. It's a good theory. It makes sense, but Cass has no recollection of whatever.
No, we don't. We don't bring that thing further into the ship.
Into the interim, Tamago Tora gives 500 to the players. Thank you very much.
Thank you, friend.
Also 5 to Thomas. Thanks, Tamago.
No. He said, Tamago said the Thomas.
The Thomas.
Is that our Thomas, or is
Yeah? It's not any Thomas.
This is our Thomas. What are you talking about?
Okay, fair.
To the any Thomas.
Ooh.
I think the thing to do is to repair it, and we can worry about this after.
Don't risk your lives. And he's kind of like taking a mental note, if he can, some screenshots. But it would be extremely useful to our entire purpose on Galice if you could grab that object for further study.
Nope, I am not touching that thing unless it is to kick it out of the hole.
Machio, if you are close by, she is seeing colors.
I am a they, not a she. Stop that.
They are seeing colors. My apologies. They are not well.
Yes, and also, to be fair, I think we're only making that mistake because it's ignorance, but not the offensive type of ignorance, just straight up stupid ignorance. Anyway, yeah, I can kick this into space if you want.
Please.
But,
Secure the hole.
Do not touch it. If Chess wants that, Chess can come in here and get it himself.
My follow-up is yes. I agree with the doc on that one.
Actually, yes.
Okay, I guess we're 11 years old now. We are not doctors of scientific research going on anthropological digs on the planet. That is totally fine, coward.
Listen, okay, that's hilarious that you just said that, Chess. And also, I don't think we should kick this thing into space just right yet because we don't even know what this. We might need something from this at some point. We don't know.
There are weird things happening on this ship. There are vines that are growing that none of us recognize that did not come with the biological matter that we brought. Stop. And it is feeding off of a human arm as its food. We are dealing with something that we don't understand, and I am not bringing that thing further into the ship.
And clearly this thing is the cause.
It might make it worse.
It is a foreign object.
Yes, it doesn't belong here. I've never seen this before.
We must consider the fact that it may be responsible or associated with what is going on, the strange things that are occurring.
This
if we kick it out into
a
space,
tremendous
it can stop.
leap. This is an amazing leap in logical guesses.
I don't agree. I think it's the closest thing that we have, and until such time as we can disprove it, we should leave it alone.
We are staring at an object not made by humans. If what you are seeing is what I am to believe it is. It did not originate on this ship. It is not an inventory of this ship, but it is in our close proximity. It would be a complete loss to humanity if we were to let this object continue on its path.
Maybe there are some things that are out in space that we aren't meant to know about, and I'm all right with that.
What?
But we don't have to decide now. It can stay here. Let's patch the ship. Let's make it so we're not going to be sucked out into space.
Is there any way? Why don't we, if we can, try to contain this in its own little space so it can be immediately evacuated if we need it to be, and it can be, quarantined off.
There aren't a lot of small spaces in this sort of a place that aren't already being used for something else.
Airlock.
Yeah, that way it's easy to jettison.
Airlock.
However, we don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. If
Fair.
you've seen any horror films, that's how it happens. Every time you touch it.
True. It's true.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna like wrench my eyes away from it and move closer toward the patch that is being held. Well, the temporary airlock that's being held in place over what I think is the hole.
So what will have to happen is using the exterior handholds, carefully moving around the sides of the ship. Cass and John, and I assume the doctor is going as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna detach from John at this point.
The three of you work your way carefully along the outside. Chess remains, of course, at the airlock door for this room. Cass, when Cass arrives, what Cass notices is that a portable airlock was positioned over the hole. Someone had placed it over a part of the hole, and it's collapsed. The portable airlock has collapsed, and is now pressed up, almost like it's glued against the side of the hole.
All right. With the training that can I now see like the outlines of where the hole is?
You see where the hole in the hull is obscured by the portable airlock. You can't actually see it. I'll put it this way though. I'll have Cass and John both give me a spot hidden roll. I'll take a look at this from here.
Oh, that's not good.
14 hard success. What did you get?
97.
Okay, good. So John, one thing that John notices right away is that he's concerned about the greater structure, the large support beams in this room, and he's worried that perhaps this impact might have bent or set them out of alignment. Of course, if the foundational pieces, the load-bearing pieces are out of alignment, the whole structure can collapse. John's concerned about the cause of the impact and these larger beams, and he's distracted in studying these to see if anything is bent or cracked or stretched. So John doesn't, that's what he's looking at this point. He's worried about the integrity of this room and the structure. Cass, what you'll notice is there are some lines, impact lines you can see around the edges of where the portable airlock has been smushed. But the hull is being obscured and probably mostly being contained by the smashed portable airlock.
So that being the case, do I think that I could like spot weld metal on top of the portable airlock and like not move it because I don't want to have us all ripped out into space, but like put metal over it and then steel around it, basically.
Give me an education roll, Cass.
38 success.
Okay. Cass's training, of course, is that the location that you want to work in. You first set up a portable airlock. That's step one. Then step two is clear and clean the area where the hole is. Then step three, of course, would be to apply the metal and the patch and whatnot as step four. But you definitely need to clear this thing to fix it. You can't patch on top of all this fabric and material. You got to move it. So moving it, of course, is going to open this up to the vacuum.
Yeah, so I will pass that to John and to Stanley and tell them the only way that I can patch this thing is to move the smashed airlock, which could get dangerous.
Can we reactivate this airlock so it's less dangerous?
I'm going to guess no, because it's you referred to it as being smashed.
This particular one appears to be in bad shape.
This one is there's no way that I can salvage this into a workable airlock.
I'm out of recommendations.
If I close this door, not for the reason you're thinking, or the reason I alluded to in chat, that would cease forward pressure and make it more workable, right? It's only unworkable as an airlock because the air particles are constantly being pulled through it.
The problem, though, is that the mechanisms are smashed. There are mechanisms to inflate it rapidly, to put it where we need it to be, and those are smashed.
Is there a way to where we can hook up, and then once it's depressurized, it goes out, and then we're in the vacuum of space inside this area, and that way we can still move around, and it's not going to get sucked out. Once all the air has been sucked out from the depressurization, it should return to normal.
That seems logical to me. Once we close the door and pull this away, basically, is what you're thinking?
Yes, we have to strap in, and we have to weather that storm, close this door, open that portable airlock, and then once it returns to normal,
the storm stops as soon as I close the door. The storm that you have now is as a result of this door being open.
And the storm that he's referencing will last for as long as there's air in here, which there's air coming in from where you are. So yeah, go ahead and close that door. And I'm actually going to start like moving around and like strapping John to part of the ship with his line and checking Stanley's.
And
I'm strapping to two separate parts.
As John says, "Oh my God, my room."
I didn't hear you, Thomas.
Is Jess going to go inside the room with the other three or stay outside?
I'm outside, and I was just about to ask Cass what they think the best way to close it is. Like this interface, look through my HUD and tell me what to press.
Okay, so what you're going to need to do is get a hold of the round wheel, and basically like it's like an old style bank vault, and you're going to like roll it back into place, and then type in the code.
Okay, are you guys?
Although you shouldn't need to type in the code because you'll just shut it, and I can open it from this side.
Okay. Everyone strapped? Good to go?
Yeah.
All right. I've always wanted to say this. Yo ho ho and a bottle of Zima. And he closes.
What's Zima?
Closes and seals three of you in the forward room, the large magnetic field generator room on the front of the ship, and the air in this room. There's not much air, frankly, at this point. It's pulled out. It's not as dramatic as you'd feared. The main hatch is closed. And with that moment, we'll take a little break here. Everyone go ahead and take care of business. We'll take maybe it's a 5-10 minute bio break as we all visit the rest stations in our own little space station here. And we will return very briefly to pick up the story from this moment. So we will see you guys on the other side.
5 minutes.
Well, we are back from our brief break and ready to continue tackling our story here. So where we left off at the break, of course, is that the foreroom on the ship is essentially where the magnetic field generator resides, the large spherical dome-shaped room that was beset by some sort of impact and needed to be repaired. Our characters have just finished sealing off the room from the rest of the ship so that the remaining oxygen in this room has exited and there's no longer any pull. The air inside is not pushing or pulling you towards the hole. They have the three characters, Cass, John Ralph Macchio, and Dr. Stanley Torrance, are all in 0G and all essentially in a vacuum inside this room in their spacesuits. But the three of you are in a vacuum at this point. So if something happens, we will see. At this point, Cass, because the pressure is no longer an issue, where that portable airlock was set up, it's easy to move and peel that aside. Cass does so to examine what was previously done. And what Cass sees and what John sees, we'll find out in a second. So Cass, I'd like you to roll your engineering skill. I think, which one should we do for this? I'm thinking not electrical, mechanical perhaps?
Yeah, mechanical repair is probably the best one to go on here.
Go with mechanical repair. And for John, I'm just going to let you roll your straight engineering skill because, as we all know, John is an engineer of all sorts. He is
he's the engineer's engineer.
Engineer of engineer. He engineers every single practice, every single type of field.
Got his degree in computer science.
Jack of engineers.
You know, I was the only one to nickname myself the Omni Engineer for 40 years. And that was 20 years before I became an engineer. So, you know.
So I'm going to have John roll that fantastic engineering skill. And let me know what you get. Cass, what did you get?
I got a 36 out of 60. So not quite a hard success, but close.
Good. Let's see what John thinks.
39.
Nice.
Out of what?
The half success is 35.
Okay. So both of you about the same level of, the two of you see things the same way. It appears that a repair was done. You can see evidence of a prior repair that failed. And it appears that the failure went out. It was pushed out. Whatever the patchwork was done was not whatever, for whatever reason, it did not succeed and it blew out. So you can see the evidence of the ship and the pieces kind of pushing out away from the ship. There's a hole there. And the process of that failing, that airlock also collapsed on top of it and mostly sealed the hole in the side of the ship. That needs to be fixed. And it appears that when it blew out, from your engineering opinion, it looks worse probably than when it originally was made.
Sure. And that makes sense. When you know a patch gets torn out of clothes, it makes it worse than the hole was originally.
So both of your experience is that you're going to have to basically strengthen this area of the hull, lay down additional metal, and supports, patch it all up. And it's best to do so, of course, in a vacuum. So you don't have to deal with air pressure. Then once you feel it's repaired, you can add the air and see how it looks. But it's you both estimate this job will probably take several hours minimum. Of course, John, you've never worked in a vacuum or in 0G before. Cass, of course, has. The doctor has done some experience in 0G, but he's a surgeon, not really.
I'm here to hand tools.
Yeah.
Well, and so the first step that we'll need to do is clean the area around. I feel like that's something that I can get a surgeon with a good eye to help with, because he would have an idea of what that would look like.
Right, and I'll put it this way: what we're going to do then, for mechanical purposes, unless you guys want to stop and do more story stuff, we're going to essentially kind of take the repair process and extrapolate it with our skills, and let you guys spend some time working together on fixing this. Unless there's something we want to cut to. Thoughts?
I do want to say that when the room depressurizes, I want to glance at that cylinder bullet thing again.
Cass, looking over there in the corner of the room where the light is dimmest, it appears to be tucked away, way away from your workspace, way away from the door, almost hidden behind the giant magnetic field generator in the darkness. It sits still unmoving, ominously waiting, silently.
You were saying something about a horror film? That feels like a horror film setup right there.
Was it? It was sitting down. It wasn't floating in the 0G at all.
It appears to be tucked away.
Tucked away.
I'm going to key my comms so that I'm just talking to John and Stanley, and say, look, I understand where Chess is coming from, but I don't want that thing on this ship. I think that everything about it is wrong and deadly and will probably end up getting everyone killed.
What makes you say that?
Because I'm having weird memories when I look at it.
You hear Chess. I see your lips moving. I think your comm's cut out, guys.
I'm not facing toward the door, and I have my camera facing out.
I can.
Oh,
I can look at yeah.
At your face.
I'm gonna just like look at the other two with my eyebrows raised slightly.
Well, I'm gonna turn my back away from Chess, and
he'll be able to look at the camera.
I mean, oh yeah, I can't. Well, I'll still do it, but he can still see my face. Listen.
Well, but he'll have to know who is talking in order to.
Yeah, I can only see one person,
and he can't read lips. So here's what I'm saying. I don't know what this little mysterious contraption thing is. It's smarter to get rid of it, but you're the only one being affected by it. It breached the hull, but is it really smarter to throw it out into space and see if it messes with someone else? Who knows? It could circle back to Earth. We could be only a year out.
That is.
All we know.
Well, that is certainly possible, but my responsibility is the people on this ship. I came on this mission to keep you safe.
If I may, I think our first priority needs to be finding the other crew members after this. We can fix the station, and we probably will, but only one gravity suit or space suit was missing. And that is now currently outside. It's plausible to believe that Andy was sucked out when something happened here with the patch, and that she was here working by herself. That means that the other two could still be around here in the ship. And one's already lost an arm. I don't know how that happened, but they lost an arm. And that's a threat, in my opinion. Or, we could find them and they could just be hiding. I don't know. But we have to consider what the priorities are. If this is from another world, which it seems to be, it does merit some form of study. We just have to be able to do it safely.
And I don't know if there's any way to do that.
Well, then we get that information.
I disagree. I'm a man who considers himself who likes to find a lot of fail safes. Safety net under safety net under safety net. I feel like if we want to keep this in its own airlock, for me and Chess, or just for Chess, let's just say that for now, we can keep it in here, and maybe if there's some sort of explosive material we can make shift on the ship, maybe we can rig that to this thing so it doesn't. If we jettison out, hopefully we can also destroy it in one fell swoop.
Well, if we're able to move it to the airlock that we found along the way, I would be satisfied with that, because that can be jettisoned very quickly.
Isn't this a jettison lock technically though? Because there's no air in here, and
I mean, I would very much prefer to just kick this thing out into space and say no more about it. But I recognize that I am outvoted.
I just think that we have some time here. There's some other stuff that we need to do. We know it's here. It's not glowing anymore.
Is it? Is it still glowing in my vision?
You're on mute.
Tom, we can't hear you.
Yes, yeah, my apologies. When cast peers sort of side-eyed over at it, it's dark. It's still, there's nothing coming from it.
Okay. It seems all right now. There's just too many weird things. None of this was what I was trained for, and part of my job is, of course, adaptability, but there's a point where adaptability breaks.
Well, as I said, we should deal with it later. Let's focus on the task at hand.
And I'll key Chess back into the conversation. Sorry about that. Minor technical glitch there.
All right.
Quick question.
Weird.
Is there anything the fellows want to do while repairs are undertaken? Otherwise, we'll kind of just take the repairs and move quickly and do a bunch of rolls to fix it and go forward.
I will ask Cass. Is there any way to go outside and get your friend?
Oh, that's a good point. Like not wanting to at all, but I'm going to like lean and look through the hole because I suspect that this is about where Andy would have been or is.
All right, Cass, give me a spot hidden roll.
I was going to say, if you say sanity one more time. 10. That is a hard, not quite critical, but very close to critical success.
Okay. From this position, Cass has an amazing view. You see the outside of the dome in front of the ship, and as Cass peers around in different 360, the giant satellite disk, for lack of a better word, the collector on the front, massive, really blocks the rest of Cass's view of the ship. And it appears from the view here, it doesn't match the image you remember from the video of Andy's suit. And then as Cass looks around, there's no sign of Andy or anyone else. But one thing Cass does see, somewhere in front of the ship is a red light, a burning red light. It's like a sun, but a star, but a little bit larger than what you would expect. Like Cass is giving an astronomy skill.
Oh, Lord. Do I have that? There's no astronomy in here.
Chess, what's the equivalent that you would have on your paper sheet?
I
mean, that might be a science astronomy, that which I don't have.
Archaeology, and then
just write astrology.
Intelligence.
Natural.
Navigate, maybe?
I'm sorry, Tom. Natural world, intelligence, archaeology.
I would think from the way I look at the skills that it would be either navigate, because you navigate by the stars, or natural world.
I'm going to go with natural world as our tie-in for astronomy. I know that Chess's character did a lot of research into this field. So what's his natural world?
My natural world is 60.
That's right. Give me a roll, Chess, assuming, of course, you're looking through Cass's helmet cam.
Yep. 26.
Nice.
And that makes it it's below 30, so it's better than a hard success.
It's a hard success. Yeah.
It's a hard success.
That's a great success. One thing that Chess is aware of course, is the mission parameters and the ultimate destination. And then the red dwarf star that this colony is heading towards, that red ball in front of you, that glowing star that appears to be a little closer than everything else in the field of vision, probably might be, it's a good theory, it might be your destination somewhere in front of you. It's approaching.
You hear through the comms, my God.
What?
I think we're almost at our destination.
Oh, then we've been out for a long time.
That star, if any kind of asks Cass to do a slow panning.
Yeah, I'll actually like stick my head out the hole, like holding onto it to one side with both hands, and just like slowly pan across so he can get a good look.
It's located somewhere in front of the ship, not directly, but close enough to the front. It's larger than the other stars. It's a red ball, a red star, just a little bit bigger than everything else around you.
We are in the Grus constellation. If I'm not mistaken, we're not far from Gliese. We've been under for a long time.
We have. That's good news, though.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
I turn to John Ralphio Macchio and I say, I'm sorry. it seems you said you missed your daughter. She may be dead by now.
Well, hopefully she lived a full life of being happy before she lost her old man in space. How many people can say that?
Not me.
John turns his head at him.
And you hear through the comms, both of you, this is a joyous celebration. We are almost at our destination. Your daughter, is under the auspice that her father set forth with grandiose plans of exploring the new world. We are the modern day explorers. We are heroes. We're almost there, which should encourage us all to finish the task of patching the hull, grabbing that object, and getting back under safely for the duration of the trip.
We're not going to touch that object yet.
I agree.
There's too much unexplained.
But
I agree, it's worth study.
And for two, there are two members of my crew that are unaccounted for who should be awake. Yes, this is a joyous occasion. We're getting close to where we're supposed to be, but there are too many unanswered questions for me to be just happy about this. I'm going to push back into the ship.
Cass is back inside.
I'm sorry, Chess. I want to keep this thing for the curiosity too. But you're right. We've come too far to die now. I don't think I'm going to make it to that new world.
Has space dementia hit you all? What you're equating? Fine, get back on the ship. There's no need to equate this object with death. My
Really?
God.
There's at least one member of the crew who is dead.
And clearly this object is to blame.
Well, let's be honest here. This object crashing through here likely didn't destroy our navigation, and that's down.
To be fair, we don't even know if... Oh, go.
Didn't stop at the rest of the systems, or didn't cause the rest of the systems to go down. So what did?
And we don't really know if it's user error. Andy himself, as brilliant as the person was, could have had a mishap. It could almost happen to us trying to get to this broken hull in the first place.
Andy is short for Andromeda. She's a she, dear.
I deeply apologize.
It's fine. She always made fun of people who made that mistake.
We would have got along then.
Either way, I agree. Let's patch the hull and let's start looking at the other stuff. We have other crew members to find, and we have other things to fix so that we can actually make it to our destination. And how many people are sleeping on this ship? They are counting on us to get the job done.
I'm also concerned about where those vines came from. Those aren't anything that I recognize from Earth. And admittedly, I don't know a lot about botany, but I'm pretty sure I knew what was in the inventory and it wasn't in there.
No, I think that we checked it last time, didn't we?
We did, and it wasn't anything that we recognized, if I remember right. Or no,
that was ivy.
Yeah.
No, sorry, it was ivy, but we didn't bring ivy with us. That was it.
Okay.
Actually, you did bring ivy with you.
Yeah.
I thought we didn't.
I thought it was just kind of something that was accounted for, but just had an exponential growth rate.
Yeah, they were in the little...
Or, okay, so wait, that changes a lot. It could either A, be some new alien presence, or B, be something that was mutated into something new.
Yet we have no idea what this sun does to plant life. This is further study. This is science. We don't know. We shouldn't be jumping at conclusions.
But what we do know is that it doesn't belong in a severed arm. So that
it is
strange.
not uncommon for plants to root themselves in other biologics. That does happen. They occupy shells. They occupy carcasses.
I'm going to turn them off in my comms and just like focus on starting to work on this because I'm tired of their bickering.
The last thing Cass hears is mushroom spores and ant.
All right, if there's nothing else, what will happen is there'll be several hours spent getting the repair site cleaned up, prepared, laying out new supports, using the metal that's in here. And for our purposes, there's sufficient spare parts and floating metal that already grounded.
The entire time, Chess is trying to make his case to grab the object relentlessly, and is bringing up like the allegory of the cave and human existence based on ignorance. We should be past this.
And periodically, Cass will check back in and then click right back out as soon as they hear that Chess is just relentless, because they're like, I am not dealing with this.
So I want to have Cass give me your repair roll. The engineer, it was mechanical repair, I believe.
Mechanical repair, yeah.
Give me that roll for Cass.
48, success.
Okay. And then John, if you're assisting, I'm assuming John would.
I wouldn't mind helping.
You have mechanical repair as well.
Let's do it.
Go for it.
I dropped my sheet. Ooh, that's pretty. That's a 19.
Ooh.
Right.
Engineering.
The doctor does a little bit of assistance, but if he's not really a repair person, but he helps you guys with bringing materials in place. It's a faster process than you expected. Cass is very professional, and John has done a lot of construction work in his time. It doesn't take too long, and this mechanically, this is not something within your guys' wheelhouse. Put it that way. When the work is done, the group of you feel like you've done a good job patching it, you seal it all up. Are you ready to test it?
Yeah, I'll like go over it again, just checking like all the spot welds and everything else that we would have used, and checking it, like triple checking it just to make sure, and then like push back a little bit and say, all right, moment of truth.
Right. So it was welded, and then also you patched up with a sealant on top of that. You guys did a good job of duty. And with John's help, made sure that it was. You're hoping that the structure is secure.
Yeah, and when we finish, I'll like fist bump him.
Right, so does somebody want to open that door?
I'm gonna go and clip myself to a wall before we do that. Like, make sure that we're all secured just in case it rips out. Because that's already happened before, so I'm not playing that game.
Yeah, we've all seen movies. Can I also clip as I would like to throw my hat in the ring in terms of opening it?
All right, so the group of you clip, everyone prepares themselves, and I finally get to make a roll with these. And let's see if I can do any damage. As we open the door and back in, and let's see if our repair work has held up. So I rolled an 18, and I'm going to use one of my GM inspiration, because let's see if I can fumble this roll.
God ram it, Tomo.
Let's give it a shot. Unfortunately, I rolled a 0-9, which is better.
This is the time that I like you to roll low.
So the welds, I'm rolling for the welds. I'm like personifying the ship itself. It's a strong ship. It's very well put together and repaired. It withstands the pressure change, the differential, and the air pressure levels out over several minutes. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief. The ropes go slack. Everyone is still floating, but your indicators indicate now that the air is breathable outside of you. Temperature-wise, it's still really cold, but you've completed your repair. And you can probably mark off one of your many tasks as completed. The whole breach has been repaired.
Oh, that's good.
Well done, team.
Great job, team.
Hey, look, I'm a floater.
I'll say. Next, we have to get the engine working, right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna like kick over toward the, because so this is the collector unit. Is this the engine itself, like the generator, the powerhouse of the ship, the mitochondria of the ship, as it were?
Yes. Give me 1 second as my computer likes to freeze as I'm changing windows.
I hear that.
You guys can still see me, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a collector on the front of the ship, and also serves double duty. This room actually is a magnetic field generator, which serves a couple purposes that you guys have trained on. One of which, it makes a magnetic field around the ship, which helps protect you from radiation and whatnot. But the field itself has an interesting shape to it with a round, and also projects out the front as well. And they've engineered this thing to be a secondary collector. So it not only protects the ship, but also has another umbrella out front. Working with the built-in collector, your ship is able to collect hydrogen and other small particles that exist in space, and then funnel them in and gather them up and then use them as propellant. So ultimately you're scooping up space fuel, which is going all the way to the back of the ship, stored there for propellant. The ship is powered by a nuclear reactor, which is an electrical system. And it's an electric powered engine, as opposed to like a liquid or propulsion. It's using energy to propel the mass. It's not burning fuel. if that makes sense. So this is a collector, and the magnetic field serves several purposes, but it's off, by the way. That's
Okay.
problems on the ship. The magnetic field generator is presently off.
And is this something that so thinking back to the lesson that the AI was trying to teach and Andy and I were loudly ignoring, is this something that I can repair here in the room, or do I need to go to the engine and the systems in it in order to repair it?
It really depends on what's broken.
Okay, so I'm going to start like pulling myself around the generator to get a good look and see if I can like check readouts and do various scans and see what I can figure out is wrong.
I think the best analog for this thing is going to be electrical engineering.
Probably,
yeah. Electrical engineering skill.
Cass's electrical engineering skill, electrical repair is 60.
That's what we needed. So this is in her wheelhouse as well. Give me a roll.
51, just made it.
Cass does a quick scan of the entire magnetic field generator. The exterior looks to be fine. Cass notices several panels that have been replaced that look new. And then does Cass want to open those?
Yeah, I'm gonna like gently pull those open.
Right. It's a pretty simple process where she opens and reveals it. Inside, Cass sees looks like new repair work. Someone has repaired this or done work on it. There's areas where there's pieces that have been new pieces placed in. You see some scrape and some damage to the paint, mind you. But it looks like the parts. There's new parts that have been installed. As Cass examines it, it's off. Everything is off right now.
Okay, is there like a power switch or a button to pull here that I can turn on?
There's several locations, but there is one local. The Cass goes down near the bottom of it. As the Cass goes down there, opens the access panel. There's a master power switch, which has been toggled off.
Okay, I do want to go back to the panels that have been repaired and check them over just to make sure that the repairs were done correctly before I try to turn everything on.
Give me another roll with that electrical engineering.
Sure.
While she's looking at it, I just want to ask her a question after this roll.
34.
It appears to you that it's been essentially parts have been pulled out and new parts have been put in. It's a plug and play sort of thing that they've done here. So Too crazy, but these are new replacement parts that have been put into this generator.
Cass, would you be able to recognize whose handiwork that is?
I mean, this is pretty modular. So it's a plug and play. It's not really something that has a I don't know, a signature to it besides the signature of the people who made it. I mean, Boss had her ways of working around things, but this wouldn't need that sort of expertise. This is very straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah, am I reading that right, Tom? That it is very like unplug, plug back in?
I mean, generally, but there is a member of your team that has more expertise in these devices than yourself, which probably would be, I think, Peter.
Yeah, the tinkerer, but also like I would recognize him working around something, and this doesn't look like it needed to be a workaround. Would be my guess, at least from what you said.
Yeah, it's not like totally smashed.
Yeah.
Like whatever damage was done was something that anyone of your group probably could have easily fixed.
Yeah. So I'll close the panel back up and look around and say, I don't know what happened that Andy was the only one here. But is it safe to be in this room with the generator turned on?
Well, they didn't really. Let me see. Give me an education roll. Let's put it that way.
Okay. That is a 10. So that's a hard critical success. Excuse me.
Yeah, they indicated that you should be safe. It's a magnetic field. As humans live with them on Earth, and all animals do, and it's something that is naturally occurring for bodies. So it should be fine.
I wasn't sure if it was like being in an MRI room with the MRI turned on, where all your metal gets sucked to it.
Oh.
Things that you learn from working in a hospital.
So does Cass want to turn it back on?
Yeah. So after I have verified that everything is After I verified that everything is clipped into the places that they belong, I'll pull myself like put a hand on Stanley's shoulder before pushing myself down toward the toward the switch.
Right. And just for my purposes, it's still Chess is still outside. Everyone else is still inside the room, right?
For no particular reason whatsoever.
He's the door, he's assuming that you guys are going to come through the door, but he's been just kind of like jotting down in his notebook about the object, and also like mapping its place in reference to the other stars and planets in the sky. So planning a return expedition if they don't plan on retrieving it this time around.
Right.
Oh, it's inside, man.
You brought it in.
We did. It was always in.
Oh, it's in the. Oh shit! It's in the room.
It's in the room. It's not out. It's not outside. I wanted to kick it outside and then close the hole on it, but it's inside the ship. Does that change any of what you were saying?
Yes.
Before.
He doesn't. No. Yeah, I thought it was kind of like floating alongside of the ship, but it came through.
It came through. I would reasonably assume that's what caused the hole in the ship. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. He's opening the door.
So, would that have changed your argument before we sealed the hole? The hole in the hull?
Whose argument? Mine or Chess's?
No, Chess's.
Yeah, because I thought you guys were gonna like. I had assumed mentally that you guys were like it was floating alongside at a distance.
No. It's inside of the ship.
It's inside. Yeah. He is going to it. I mean, it changes kind of the dynamic of what he was talking about, maybe.
Yeah, because I was making the argument to just like dislodge it from where it was while things are still in 0G and kick it out the hole and get rid of it. And then, maybe send someone back for it using the method that you were talking about.
Oh, yeah, no. No, the argument is definitely leave it. I'll deal with it.
Okay.
And of course, we've sealed this room, so it's patched up. There's no issue with it with the air loss. The door was opened. Air flow is fine. The four of you can be in the room. Cass hits the master power switch, powering up the electric field generator, the magnetic field generator. Excuse me. The system starts activating. Lights. You hear the hum of the generator go. Indicator lights showing. It all looks like it's running nicely. So Cass is studying that just to make sure it looks good. If John and Stanley and Chess can all give me a spot hidden roll.
All right. Chess is definitely thrilled about being. Well, it looks like we're on course. Spot hidden. That is going to be a success. So my success is 75, but I rolled a 35.
Okay, that's probably a hard.
That's a hard success.
Okay. Anybody with better than a hard success?
Nope.
Or a hard success?
I have a success.
All right, and then John, how's he doing?
I did not roll on that one. No, 61.
All right, so John and Cass are studying the magnetic field generator, keeping an eye on that. Dr. Stanley, you noticed a change in the light in the room, a very minor change, but a light, some new light sources developed at a corner of your eye, picking up something, and it's a low color, maybe an ultraviolet. Chess is the one that turns towards it and sees it. That cylindric object, the black cylindric object, has a very faint, deep purple, like the ultraviolet spectrum is just barely touching into what you can see at this point. It's starting to radiate a very, very hard to see but clear, deep purple light.
And I mentioned that. I said I clearly don't have my tools, but it is absorbing light at a spectrum that is. I don't think an artist can paint this palette.
Turn it off, Cass. The generator. Turn it off.
What? The systems are on.
Please turn it off.
I'll throw the switch back.
The generator spins and slows and slows. The indicator lights die down and dim. The whole system starts to shut itself down again. Dr. Stanley, who is now looking at the light, he sees what Chess is seeing. That object tucked away in the corner, the black object, which for a moment was a deep purple, now goes back to being black and cold, emanating no light whatsoever.
How did you know to do that?
It was just one thing led to the other, right? We turned on the magnetic field generator. It started glowing.
It was glowing again?
It was. It was glowing a kind of purple.
So it responds to electromagnetic fields. It
At
emits
least.
a dark purple radiation. We don't know if it's emitting any other radiation right now. Can I do does it have any sort of traces of like give off anything? You know how Stonehenge is kind of like, this isn't a normal structure, right? Like,
Sure.
is it a man? Can I tell it is like a creation of some kind versus like potentially a naturally forming thing?
You probably want to get a little closer to see.
This requires further inspection. There's no gravity, right?
Right.
And he kind of meanders over very slowly. First, he jots it down. Interesting findings. Thank you, Dr. Torrance. You might prove useful yet. Claps the book.
Talking about, I've already saved one person's life on this ship.
Figure of speech, Doc, please. My God. And
everyone did ignore my original idea. I'm just going to say that.
He starts to approach the object, tentatively, but approaches it.
All right, let's see. How do I want to have you? All right, well, as you get closer, I'll just tell you what you see.
Okay.
Is a cylinder, a black cylinder object. The front end is domed, rounded. The back end is indented, kind of the opposite of the front. And it seems to have been tucked in here. There's a bunch of wires and cables and pipes that's kind of securing it. Your theory is it's unlikely it tucked itself. Maybe someone put it here. And there's markings and detail and relief surrounding it. Almost like it's got texture to it as you get close to it, but it's all the same color. It's a deep black, no contrast whatsoever. But there's definitely some sort of detailing, shape, and forms. Etched, maybe, is the right word.
Two very significant things here. One, it is very unlikely that it propelled itself through there and lodged itself safely into here. I propose someone put this here, found it before us and put it here. Second, there's some scribes on it. This is amazing. And it's not like English or any known language. It's just kind of like random characters, right?
It really looks like shapes and traces, like there's patterns of turns and angles and routes and circles and spirals, almost like maybe like a tribal tattoo. It's maybe a good analogy. All over it, intricate designs in relief. Some of it is etched, some of it.
I mentioned the patterns, and like patterns like these fractals sort of might occur, but not on an object sort as this. This is absolutely alien in nature if these patterns weren't put here by someone on this ship.
So I suppose then it seems to be the right shape and size to have caused the hole in the side of the ship. It may have punctured through, and then my crewmates found it and shoved it into that corner to get it out of the way while they fix things.
Was the hole in the ship facing in or out?
So my guess is that the original hull of the ship was in, and then when the seal blew, when the previous repair failed, it blew out.
That's a good theory.
So I mean, my best guess is that this thing caused the puncture, and then they did a bad job on the repair, or something happened, and when they returned pressure, it blew out on the other side, but this thing stayed stuck in here.
I am worried here. Number one, you were in your tomb stabbed. Someone did that to you. We have to remember that. Someone did that to you.
And I remember Andy standing over my tomb, looking very sad and upset. I don't know what happened, but I remember that.
Is it possible that whoever stabbed you could have sabotaged the repairs?
Possible, but if that were the case, it probably wasn't Dandy. Why would she let herself get thrown out into the vacuum of space if she was the one sabotaging it?
I don't know that it is likely that your friend did this to you. If you could venture me a guess, and please forgive me, I believe you may have done this to yourself.
What would make you think that?
She is out in the abyss of space, seeing things, reflections and premonition. She has no recollection of why her life vitals are there. The only thing they remember is that their friend is standing over them. Your friend might have put you under for your own safety, unsure of whether or not you'd survive, and then gone out to try to fix whatever else was left, and met their fate somewhere.
It sounds to me like someone stabbed Cass, and someone probably dispatched Cass's friend.
Hashtag chaos in the chat. We just got raided by friends who roll dice with 13 people. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome to the Cthulhu in Space Chaos. We are the Chaos Agents. I believe Questing Chaos in the chat will tell you when to do a hashtag for a giveaway. We're going to get back to this game, but thank you so much for the raid.
I think it is
very playing a Dungeons and Dragons game with Thomas, your DM. I am Thomas the Keeper doing call. No resemblance. We're two different people. We don't look the same whatsoever.
No, not even a little. Not a bit.
Hashtag chaos in the chat. Do it now.
I think that somebody likely stabbed Cass. I think that person is likely responsible for the death of their crewmate, Andy. And I think that person is still yet to be found on this ship. We need to be very wary going forward. There is a person out there that's missing an arm, and there is a person out there that we know nothing about. And
Peter's completely unaccounted for. I don't know where he is.
Is there anything in the room that looks like a container that I might be able to put this object in?
It's like 4 meters by 3 meters, dude. It's enormous.
I thought it was like a pill, right?
It's like
4 by 6. 4 meters by 6 meters.
Oh shit!
This thing is huge, man.
What? My God. Okay.
4 meters by 6 meters. This thing is like.
I think that's why I thought it was like at a distance in space. Thinking about that makes sense.
This thing could be its own escape pod.
Honestly, that's exactly what I was about to say. Is this could be its own like life raft. And it reacted to the magnetic field being turned on. I need to turn this field on. This is the only way that we're going to have enough fuel to get to where we're going.
We can turn it on when we're ready. We still need to restore navigation. We still need to check the engines.
And quick question, just random side thing. Is there any documentation, video, surveillance on this ship at every corner? You think there would be, am I right?
Now he's thinking.
Well, I mean, why would there be? Everyone was supposed to be asleep the whole way.
Yeah, but also everybody who's navigating this journey is not going to be the same people navigating it by the time we reach the end of the destination. You know what I mean? I think we got to find. Hopefully, there's some sort of surveillance here. I don't know if there is. I think you're right, but I feel like maybe that might give us some of the answers we're looking for.
Thank you to the DAT Network for rating also with 20 viewers.
Woo!
DAT Network, we really appreciate you.
Hey guys, welcome.
Hashtag chaos in the chat. We're giving away a pin right the F now. Do it.
So we're playing Call of Cthulhu. This is a space scenario. Call of Cthulhu in the future. We typically are playing D&D, and typically there's a dungeon master here by the name of Thomas who is running this flying through. I'm another Thomas, a different Thomas, and I'm running them through the Call of Cthulhu story. Set on a spaceship called Arc 105.
Okay, well, I think we don't turn this thing on yet. We try and fix everything else. We turn this on last and see what happens. Maybe we move this out of the area if we have to. But first things first, let's go see what else we can find on the ship.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to stay here and continue examining this thing, this is sort of your area of expertise.
How far are you
Yes.
going? I'm just as curious about the navigation logs, less so now that I can practically see Gleese in the distance, but
Well, not anymore. Not
that
since
will
we
tell
patched the
us.
hole.
Yeah, good point. But that will tell us a lot about what happened.
How
the
far
timeline.
is how far? So I think we're going to go to the navigation system next. Where would I go to fix that and get the logs?
The bridge is where you'll go. It's located up the center of the ship, just on top of the main circular structure. And as of course, you know, this ship is flown by a computer.
Yeah.
It's navigated, flown up
Oh, how?
the entire time. The bridge is really just there to be used maybe in the dock system or right around when they're moving it around the planet. There's things you can use. Your training talked to you about, you know, there's important bits of machinery up there, but really it's not designed for humans to fly this ship.
Yeah.
Everything's located that the computer uses to fly this ship.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Dual's Stoner Age. You've won the giveaway. Thank you so much for joining the chaos and for joining us on Tuesday. Please stick around. John Ralphio Macho is probably going to die soon.
It could also be Dual Stone Rage, but I love the 420 love.
Stoner Age. That's where my
Stoner
mind went.
Age, man.
I like it.
All right. So how far is the bridge from where we are right now?
Pretty much the middle of the ship. It shouldn't take too far. About the
Okay.
same
So
you go from the front of the ship to where your particular colony ring was.
okay. So I'll relay that to Chess and say, I mean, if you want the logs, it shouldn't take me too long to fix the systems. I hope we'll find out, and then you can come back here and poke at this thing.
Don't
This
Not
is
literally.
clearly
Not literally.
don't touch it.
That is not scientific, but I get your meaning. This is
I'm
not going anywhere.
I'm not a scientist. I'm an engineer.
I am not going back to sleep. I will spend the time awake to get to Gleese studying this object, whatever it is. But the navigation logs will tell a bigger picture. We should go there.
Right. All right, and I'll gather up my equipment, the tools that I have from all of this in the duffel bag, and like sling an arm through it, wear it on the front like a haversack of sorts.
I think we can ditch these suits at some point. Yes.
Up to you.
Fully ditch them? I mean, maybe we should have them just in case, right?
I'm gonna leave mine on, at least for the moment. I don't know what's going on the bridge, so until I know what's going on, I'm gonna keep this on.
Okay. Fair
Jess, was that a finger on a nose from you?
That was a finger on the outside of my helmet. Like
way out here.
yes. I'm
All
not
right.
taking this off until we're 100% green in all areas.
And it'll be a bit cumbersome in the areas where we have gravity, but they're not too bad once you get used to them.
Yeah, the bridge is not one of those areas.
Right
Cool.
So everyone's going, correct?
Yeah.
Sounds like, yeah, and I have the tools that we have now from doing the patch.
Right. So everyone leaves the front area. This is where the magnetic field generator is located. After leaving, the doors closed. So that room, and the four of you float your way down using the handholds or your zero G's training, down the ship, past different, a couple different pathways. Of course, where we talked about the airlock being the way to the first colony ring, habitation ring, the second, and then cast notes where the bridge door is. It's a single hatch located essentially on the wall, but everything here, there's no up, there's no down. You're floating in zero G. Cast notes where it is, the group you move over. Cast, there's a different code for the bridge, but you remember it.
Yeah. I had to memorize all of the codes just in case, and like boss would drill us until we knew them by inside and out. Mm-hmm. So tap.
The bridge lights, the door to the bridge indicates the 3 red warning lights that you've seen before.
Ah, son of a bitch. There's something wrong. There's something wrong with the atmosphere in there.
Oh my goodness. Maybe there's another pod. Maybe there's another
Isn't
object.
that why we have these chutes? Can't we still go in with the crappy air?
We can, but I'm very concerned about there being another hole in the hull, and I don't have enough material necessarily to fix another one.
Does
And if there's a second one of these things and it looks like that, and you say it's some sort of alien life, I'm going to say we got attacked.
Or maybe it responds to magnetization. We don't know.
we do only need one specimen, in my opinion.
Let's open the door and find out. Let's clip in first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll clip
Not
this down.
to each other. He looks at Machio.
Are you kidding me? I said every person, if we had enough rope, gets attached to the ship. Forget it. We're going to discuss this if we survive later. And yeah, I won't attach to anybody.
Yeah, and I'll check everyone's attachments before going to open the door.
Everyone's secured. Cass enters a code 2 times to override. Turns the latch, begins to move it. The atmosphere inside the central compartment begins to pull you towards the cockpit or the bridge room, almost immediately after you open the door.
Stronger than the other one.
Stronger than the other one, yes. So what's your move here at this point? You're all secure, but what's your move?
How much rope do we have? Can I get in there?
You probably could just slowly loosen the rope like you were rappelling as we used before, just to give yourself enough length, and it would pull you into that room.
Yeah. Kind of want to start doing that, giving myself a little bit to see how far I can go into that room. Of course, turn the light on and look around.
Okay. Doctor, give me your 0G roll.
Goodness, here we go.
Oh, Jesus.
Ooh, 72.
What is his 0G?
45.
You want to inspire that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll do it.
Oh my God.
Did you fumble?
Badly.
What do you get?
99.
With a 99, there's no we can't
awesome.
We can't press it. It just happens. So as the doctor's loosening up to go through the door, the rope, the harness comes undone. It pulls him straight into the cockpit. You guys notice him fly right past you. I'm going to give anybody who wants, you can get a shot at grabbing him. So
Yeah.
I would really like to take a shot at that.
I do.
Oh,
it's a strength roll for you, and I need a hard success.
A strength roll. Give me a
For
second.
everyone?
Anyone wants to grab the doctor? We'll start with Cass.
All right.
All right. 35 right on the nose, hard success.
Okay. Cass grabs the leg of Dr. Stanley Torrance, stopping his being pulled in. But Cass, you got him, but it's you're of course being pulled. Yeah, you can feel it. Your knots are tight. The moment you're fine. Anyone else want to help?
Yeah, I'm like clinging to his leg with both hands.
Is it still a strength hard success? I can reach in.
Same roll.
All right. There we go. 63.
All right.
My strength is 50.
Just grabs but can't get a hold. John.
we doing this. 56, and the strength is it's a base 60.
Okay.
It's like
So-
50.
Success.
So that's a success, but not a hard success.
John's got a hold of the fabric of the doctor's spacesuit, but that's not a very good hold. But Cass has got him at the moment. I will help that you're able to secure him so it doesn't go any further. Doctor, you grab a hold of something.
Yeah, I was about to say, is there something I can...
Yeah, I'll help swing him toward a wall to get him something.
Doctor swings towards the wall. He's now inside of the bridge. The rest of you are outside still. Doctor, give me a spot hidden roll.
My spot hidden is, I think, 75.
It's pretty high. I remember that.
Check. Yeah, it's 75, and I rolled a 60, so success.
The doctor notes that what looks like a puncture in part of the wall, where the direction you were being pulled in. It's a small puncture. It's maybe a centimeter, maybe 2 centimeters at the most diameter, and that single puncture is where all the air is moving towards.
Okay.
Pull you out of that hole. My God.
Ah.
What a way to go.
And I hold on here and I say, there's a small puncture. Can someone get inside and close the door? Or
All
just...
right, I'm gonna come in.
Guess, give me your 0G skill.
30. That is a hard success.
Okay. Cass is able to pull this off. Uses the pull of the vacuum to their benefit to get an angle, perch up, stop. Now, the doctor and Cass are inside. Do you guys want to close that door?
Chess has got the wheel like he's going to close it, and he looks to Macho. He's like, we've done this dance before. Do you want to go in, or are you staying out this time?
God damn it! And close it!
It's a small hole. I should be able to do this on my own.
Did Macho say close it?
I did.
All right, you got it. Then you watch it.
Just wheels it, closes the door, the suction stops. The room is, of course, a vacuum. The bridge is a vacuum. But Cass and the doctor are able to float over there. It's a single puncture in the wall.
Like big enough to put a finger through?
Yes, like big enough to put a finger through.
In or out?
Moving out from the room you're in towards the exterior of the ship.
Doesn't make any sense.
Wait, the puncture wound is expressed out of the ship, or is it expressed in?
Out.
It's like something shot from the bridge outward.
That's correct.
Are there any weapons on this ship?
That's a great question. Are there any weapons on the ship?
So, Cass, as far as you know, let me think. The answer is no. I'm going to try to think.
I mean, I would imagine we'd have something in case there was any like dangerous wildlife on the world we're going to.
Come on.
Yeah.
I want you to give me your education roll.
If we gave Space Force guns, we got guns.
I watched that show.
Yeah.
So what did John get in his education?
John?
For me? Oh, okay. For education, it is... That's right on the nose. My education is 40, and it's 40.
Okay. John remembers going through the inventory of the material his company was contracted to send on this, and he noticed a couple of interesting crates in there that caught his attention. You know, there's always, of course, humanity and their weapons, and they're never not supposed to be. But there's a couple boxes in there, packed on the back of this ship, and some storage units that your company, by contract, packed away, just in case the colonists might need a couple of heavy weapons.
So from that, am I the only one that knows that right now at this moment? Okay.
John is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did say, are there any weapons on this to the whole team?
You know, yeah. Then my retort will be then, well, I actually got something that you're gonna like and also not like. There may be weapons on this ship.
There may be what?
Let me clear the old throat here.
Chess looks over at John.
Weaponry and/or arms, firearms on this ship, just in case we encountered hostile life forms. I have never been out in space, me personally. I have seen plenty of movies and media, and that's what I'm basing myself on. I know that's ridiculous, but also we don't fully know what we're encountering. So when they give me weaponry, I'll take the weaponry. And unfortunately, I know where that is on the ship. Or I know that it's on the ship, at least.
With Cass, does you want to add anything?
Well, so... All right. It's neither here nor there why the weaponry is here. That's several decades in the past, it sounds like.
But
that is...
But only John Ralphio knows.
Well...
It's in the past, but we'll look into the future.
Who else would have known that was here?
So
I didn't know that was here. I had no idea.
I had no idea either, but I am... You know how tight governments are with budgets, and I am contracted as a kind of societal development, cultural excavation, anthropological expert, and they wouldn't have sent someone if there wasn't a high probability of finding life forms on the planet we were going to, or reports thereof. And with the pod we have in the other, and Mr. Machio's contingency plans with the weapons once we get planet side, I'd say that they know it's almost a certainty that we are...
Or it's just good risk management.
Listen,
that too.
In my mind, those weaponry are only a possibility. I wasn't personally going to use them. I told them that.
What kind of weaponry is it?
What do Mr. Thomas? Mr. The Thomas?
I'm going to put it this way, John. You can let us know whatever you want to say is in that crate.
Blow torches.
Oh,
Laser
you
guns.
shouldn't have done it.
Laser
Ah,
guns.
you shouldn't have done it. All right. Well, then here's what from what I remember reading in the catalog, and they gave me a catalog, but I was also very inebriated at the time of selecting the items I thought would best defend us on a on an extraterrestrial world that would hate us. Then I think an RPG, number one. We need
Clearly
that.
didn't do that. Okay.
We don't know
No.
how thick the hide of any alien life form could be.
Okay,
You know,
okay,
we don't know
okay.
how thick the hide of it is.
That
And
clearly
when
did
he-
not make this whole.
Well, that unfortunately was the first. You know, if we had an RPG at the time this thing was flying at us, I'm sure we would have solved this issue. But unfortunately,
hold on.
it all happened.
If we didn't even know that they were there, and Cass didn't know that they were there, it stands to reason her crew members didn't know that the weapons were there. Is there anything else on the ship that could make this whole?
I mean, I don't.
Roll intelligence for me.
Okay. Intelligence.
Just
51.
kidding, right?
A success?
Success.
Yeah, you guys have some tools that could probably puncture this, rivet weapons and whatnot, riveters, especially for heavy construction.
I mean, sure. There's a couple rivet guns, nail gun or two, but
Nail gun.
I'm going to look around and see if I can see anything like that
What?
around.
Is everyone in the room? And who's in the bridge?
It's just them
and
two. They
Cass.
haven't patched it, right?
Cass,
yet.
Dr. Torrance, you haven't patched it yet, but I'll let you guys do a spot hidden right now if you'd like to.
Machio and Chess is kind of whispering to Machio.
Nope, I don't
What
see
kind
a thing.
of what sort of weapons do you have? If there's any indicator of the planet side life, and that's the conversation low in the headset.
I will try and. Oh yeah, I'll transmit my details of the armory later. But I want to say it's basic. I open with the RPG, but then there are assault rifles and regular pistols and maybe a shotgun or two. What do you mean? What? I haven't gone to a gun range yet. We've talked about my odd life.
This is future stuff, man. Future
This
weapons.
dude,
You got a ray gun?
He's
We're
a
gonna have
family man and a construction dude.
Say a ray gun? What is this, 1950s?
It'd be like that Arrested Development solar sound gun that just hurts them, but you don't see anything blast out. They just freak out in pain.
Yeah.
I don't know why?
You got an LRAD. Yeah, that totally works.
That one.
Oh, no.
6 sticks? Come on.
Good Lord.
Wait, what?
No, you remember from Minority Report, the 6 sticks? Anyhow.
I still need to watch that. It's in my queue.
Good move.
I know.
Great.
Amazing.
I haven't seen it either. So,
All right, so let's see. Cass, did you roll spot hidden?
yes, I got a 25, which is a hard success.
Yes, you will see near where that puncture mark is. It's there's some computer panels over there that look like they're kind of frosted over with the vacuum and whatnot. Sitting over there, kind of against the side of the ship, is one of those rivet guns that you've seen before.
All right. Well, the good news is it doesn't look like Mr. Machio's arsenal had anything to do with this. And I'll push over and grab the rivet gun.
All right. As you look at the rivet gun, roll Sandy for me.
Memories.
Fuck. 47 out of 55. Success.
Okay. Yeah, it's a standard rivet gun. It's cold to the touch. It's a little bit worse for the wear. The battery is empty, as you have the display on it. It's still got some rivets in it, but it's empty right now.
Okay.
Looks familiar, but of course you're familiar with the tools on this ship. So
Yeah, I'll pick it up and like turn it over in my hand. Like, there's nothing in here worth riveting. Why would this be here? And
Maybe.
it's been used. Look, and I'll show him the battery. It's been used extensively.
Or it was used a while ago.
And he says, so looking through you hear Chess say, does the hole in the hull on the bridge match the puncture in the side of your body?
I don't know. I didn't get a good look at it.
I did. Let's have a look at those rivets.
And I'll pop the gun open. And like I imagine things float out a little bit, so I'll pull one out.
Right. So doctor's opinion is these wouldn't cause it. Also, it wasn't a through and through. It was
Right.
It was a stab, not a.
So it doesn't look like a match, but it's pretty clear the size of these rivets, size of the hole, and the side of the bridge. It's pretty obvious what probably caused that hole.
I don't think this made the hole in your side, but it definitely likely made the hole in the hull. So,
How many times can we say hole in the hull?
the question then is why?
That's an
And I
excellent
think
question.
I think it has to do with you being stabbed, unfortunately. I think
I'm gonna look around and see if there's any blood, any trace of any blood in the room.
I'm not going to make you roll for that because as you look around and your light catches it, it reflects the little globules of red liquid, tiny little red spheres floating about, glimmering in the light as your headlights flash through them. You see the little bits of them floating about here and there, like a little constellation inside the bridge.
Yeah, I'll turn my head and like look around and catch that and say, I think you're right. It is very disconcerting to see your own blood floating around. Actually.
we don't know if that's yours. Do I have some way to collect a sample of it?
Shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, I want to collect the sample.
A little sample tab.
Yeah.
Do it. You close it.
Right. While he's doing that, I'm just like shake my head, try to shake out of it, and like pull the repair kit off of my shoulders, that the leftovers that I have from the bigger hole. Do I think I have enough to plug this little hole?
That has enough fuel in there as far as patching this up, and it's a simple patch.
Yeah. So I'll while he's working with the sample stuff, I'm going to push over and start doing what I do and just like sinking into the work.
It probably takes Cass maybe 5-10 minutes.
While she's doing that, I'm looking around, seeing if there's any more blood, trying to see what's going on.
So I won't make Stanley roll. He's got 5 to 10 minutes to study the bridge. There's one thing. I mean, there's a lot of different computers here. The monitors are, for the most part, off. There's no reason for them to be running. But there's one that you notice that is a monitor that is turned off that has been smashed. One monitor has been smashed multiple times, bashed in. And these are tablet systems. They're touchscreen. So with it being smashed, it makes it inoperable. You don't know what it is, but clearly one of these computers has been broken by something or someone.
Cass.
Uh-huh.
What computer is this?
So as I finish up the patch, I'll push over and have a look at what he's pointing at.
Cass, it takes you a little bit because nothing's turned on. There's no reason to run. You have to really think through what they might be.
Like run through in my head what the layout would have been.
But you get a pretty good feeling that's probably related to navigation. Whereas the location makes sense. You can't tell unless it's turned on, but makes sense.
I think, I'm not positive, don't quote me on this, but I think it has something to do with navigation.
Are you guys seeing this?
A little, yeah. I'm tuning in.
Yeah.
It seems to me like somebody didn't want us to continue on our journey.
Yeah. That's all the more reason to continue, am I wrong?
Yeah, well,
I would much prefer to continue on the journey of life in general, yes.
I agree. Now, we never heard back from any of the other ships. We just were told that they landed, right? But we have not had any communication with any colony on this world.
Have we? Have we had like direct communication with ARC 1 and 2 and the colonies they would have set up?
Well, ARC 1 and 2 travel outside of your solar system to locations more than 10 light years away. And they sent back messages indicating status reports. But there's no direct communication.
Oh, okay.
That are decade or more old by the time it reaches Earth. Just general status location, updates sent out regularly by the systems. And when they arrived, a message was generated and relayed back to Earth by light speed. Eventually, the Earth picked it up, communicated that to everybody. Everybody's
okay. So
there's usually a delay in communications, but there's no reason to believe that those signals aren't authentic. There was one ship that did not make it, though, and we cannot account for it yet.
Were they headed here, where we're headed?
Well, no, they were not.
No.
Different colonies, different worlds.
Oh.
Okay. Got it.
So we are screwed. Okay.
You're the only ship going to this particular solar system.
Got it. Okay, well, regardless, somebody didn't want us to get there, and they're probably still on this ship, and we need to ask them why.
Maybe. How do you propose that we find this person? There's no tracking. There's no cameras. Is there a log of which doors have been opened when on what portion of the ship?
Well,
Probably, but
I think the first thing to do is get navigation back up and running if we can.
would there be replacements for this sort of tablet that I could wire back in, basically?
You've got an electronic shop with spare computer parts that you just take the old panel off, put another one in, and then update the system and let the thing do its thing.
All right, I should be able to. Go ahead.
Does Cass want to take a look at that computer terminal?
Yeah, I want to like start looking at it and send inventorying what supplies I need to get from the electronic shop.
So once Cass has finished the hull repair, do you want to test that first?
Yes.
Not really. Sure.
I propose once we're done here, before we do any more exploration, we go to Mr. Machio's stash and we appropriately arm ourselves.
Now that could cause problems. We could miss, and we could blow a hole in the hull. And
honestly,
we could all die.
even if we hit, it still might puncture it, wouldn't it? I mean, with the velocity of that sort of weapon, you still might puncture that, even if you hit what you're aiming at.
It depends on the size of the being, I'm going to say.
If we hit the object, it will stop its momentum enough, I would think, to not penetrate the hull.
Quick question to the DM. What is the I forget again, what is the year this is and what would be the most sophisticated weaponry? Because along with the RPG and the assault rifles and the handguns and the shotguns, I don't know what would be like in this specific timeline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so we're like 80, 90 years in the future, right around the turn of the century. And the most sophisticated weaponry is going to be kind of gauze or electric weapons that fire small projectiles and super fast flechette kind of rounds or needle weapons. But electric weapons is more likely than gunpowder weapons.
Okay.
Maybe
we got lasers now.
We can use some sort. Maybe our best weapon isn't a weapon at all, but an extended bolts or soldering tool or welding torch of some kind.
Some kind of trap.
So you do have this bolt firing weapon here that's already punctured the ship's hull one time before. Use it again.
Well, and would I be able to make a guess about like what sort of stabby things would be on the ship that would have stabbed me? Are there any like knives or anything like that?
I'll let you go ahead and roll for that with give me an intelligence roll.
60 on the nose, success.
Okay. Cass isn't aware of any actual knives, but there are items you guys could use for crimping and cutting and repair. Maybe some needle nose pliers or just a straight edge or any other improvised might make sense, but just not a knife. You're not cutting wood. You would have
garden shears.
You would have. There's no garden shears that you're aware of, but you are aware of a whole bunch of plant life. But there would be those box cutter type things as well for cloth and fabric, but that didn't cause the injury.
That it would be too deep for a box cutter.
Yeah.
Oh.
A shovel, a pike,
a root of a tree.
I mean, I would have to ask the good doctor what the wound looked like. I didn't look at it, and I don't know those sorts of things.
No, I'm not. I am well past investigating your wound. I am trying. Self-preservation is what matters most. No offense.
Well, it would help to know what the opponent is armed with.
We don't know who stabbed me or why they didn't go ahead and kill me. Stabbing someone in the side isn't exactly a killing blow.
And there was gauze on your wound. Someone tried to heal you.
Probably Andy. Anyway.
For what purpose? I mean, if you are seeing visions from this weird mechanism, then maybe Andy was also seeing something.
Here's... This is not going to make me sound any saner, but sure, we'll roll with it.
I'm open.
What I'm seeing don't feel like visions, they feel like memories. I don't remember what happened, but I think I was involved in it. And something happened that to make me forget. Whether I got knocked upside the head or something, I don't know. I don't know what causes amnesia, but I think I was involved in whatever happened. And I may be the only survivor of it, but I'm not sure.
Well, you didn't cause those holes, that's for sure.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, not that you know of.
That's true. Well,
Which
let's open this door and test the seal out. What do you think?
Sure.
Let's test it out. I'm gonna roll for our ship to see how strong our ship is with the Cass's repair work, and I rolled a 0-4.
Yes.
Great ship. This is
I have never seen a keeper more upset to roll an off 4.
Yeah, the patch is great. You've sealed up the hole, and the air levels out. You're still in 0G, but there's no issues now. It fills up with breathable air.
Okay. Is there a lot of blood over in that corner?
Yeah, most of the blood is near where the hole was. Probably sucked over there. And now that we're back in 0G, it just kind of floats around, little tiny globules. Hard to measure how much.
And there may have been more, and it got pulled out when we opened the door.
Very possible.
Right. Okay. So that's one problem solved. I need to replace the navigation panel. We passed through the electronic shop. That wasn't the room where all the vines were in, but I think that was the room that that Chess was in, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's another room, a computer repair electronics room. It's part of the habitation ring. That was fine.
Okay, so I need to retrieve that and fix this. Do we want to do that before we go digging around in the cache of weapons that could make more holes for me to fix?
I think we arm ourselves.
Passive aggressive.
I think we arm ourselves with something that doesn't puncture holes in the hull. I have my scalpel.
I would prefer blunt force weaponry if at all possible. Any misfire could kill us, frankly.
I'm not trained in hand-to-hand combat, but I promise you if I get my hands on a gun, I won't pull the trigger until I'm sure.
What's your background in armed combat?
I've been to a firing range. Not proficient in it.
A firing range isn't fighting when someone's coming at you. There's adrenaline.
I have much more confidence in that than a scalpel.
Worst case scenario, this dear Chess of ours, I don't take this personally, gets a close and personal shot with the gun before his final send-off. I think carrying a firearm, each of us, we don't know what we're dealing with here.
As a last resort.
Yeah, a firearm, each of us, last resort. I don't disagree with it. I'm sorry. We don't know what we're up against.
Where are they stored? Where are they stored?
John knows the crate number only.
Shit. Let me think. Okay, if I know the crate number, let me think. What I know the location of the I would, as John, at least know John would at least know the location of my stuff. That's how kind of on top of it I like to be. So what I know where that crate is on the location of the ship, A, and B, what I know what's in that specific crate, in case there are more crates.
So what John knows is that everything that was requested, the inventory that was supposed to be there was double checked and is in the right box. And each of those boxes was placed in a specific storage crate, which was then turned over to the space agency as a sealed container. And they loaded it on this ship.
There has to be a cargo hub.
So would I be able to get into the system and look for where the cargo is and where approximately a crate with a specific number is located?
You can.
Okay, so I'm going to go into the system and start just like flicking through menus, moving really quickly through these and like scrolling and looking.
Cass turns one of the tablet computers on, that lights up, initializes, does its thing, then flashes, of course, the warning message about the problems with the ship, kind of reminding you problems with the ship. It's still indicating about the hull breach. Maybe it doesn't know, but it still indicates that as a problem, and goes through all the rest of the problems are on the screen, of course. So give me 1 second here to go over the list.
I don't know.
Corrupted is still flashing up there at the top of your list. Magnetic field generator offline is still listed as a problem.
Which we know about.
Yeah. Hull breach is still listed as a problem. Whether that's true or not, who knows? It talks about segment corruption in multiple cargo containers.
Oh.
Then it says navigation offline, problem you're aware of. And the last problem it mentions at the bottom of the list, nuclear engine containment breach.
Yeah, I remember that now, and Cass has been focused on other things, but like comes to that last one, and their eyes just get about this big before they clamp down on it quickly.
Jess kind of fixates on the cargo. Has someone been rummaging through the cargo?
Maybe.
We saw plants out of their place. That's for sure.
Oh my God!
It's and if there's plants out of their place.
Wait, what?
Well, if there's plants out of their place, maybe there are other things that are out of their place. We haven't done a very thorough explanation. We've just been going point A to point B to point C. Wow. Which is fine. That's what we've been needing to do. It says that there's a hull breach. I wonder if there are more than the two that we have found.
It's possible. The containment issue is a problem, I think, don't you?
The stability of the ship is actually, it could be crippling if there's more than one breach on this spaceship.
I think that it may be that something came in and breached the hull and possibly damaged the engines, but I think it's also plausible that whoever smashed this console may have done something to the engines, may have gone through into cargo. They could have the weapons. I don't know.
It's possible that one of the crew members or one of the colonists, I mean, you three weren't supposed to be awake, but here you are. And something may have gone wrong with some other colonists too, and they woken up and caused havoc. I don't know.
I have a proposition. There's a lot of problems that needs to be dealt with simultaneously. We're close to our destination. I say we start waking people up and we attack multiple at once.
I don't know how close we actually are. I mean, maybe you know more about that than I do, but we could until
in the system, we could be out as far as Pluto, which means 10 years still. But that's close.
Who woke us up?
A failsafe is what it feels like.
And there was absolutely no failsafe that involved waking the colonists.
No, I thought you said, Thomas, I thought you said there was one that was like, we would only be woken up in the most dire of emergencies.
I'll put it this way. They didn't tell you that in your orientation. They just told you sleep the entire journey, and that crew people would be woken up in a dire emergency, and they'd fix the problem.
An error woke us up, and the freezing temperature and other.
I think we should check the AI as well.
Ooh.
All of these, and I'm looking, all of the navigation computers are offline, right? And it's supposed to be flown by the AI?
Well, every of the screens are off in this room. There's no reason to run them with no people here to look at them. Right. But as you notice, Cass they can be turned on and accessed. Cass, yours is still on. And you can, as you get past that menu, you can, of course, get past the warning menu and get to your query. What's the question you want to ask it?
I'm looking for the crate number that John tells me.
Well, has John told you a number yet?
1824.
Okay. Querying that, Cass Vega noticed that the inventory indicates it's stored in the back collection. There's a ring. The diagram shows you back near the engines where those would be. There's several circles of storage crates that are kind of all holed up in the back of the ship. The heavy equipment crates mostly is where those were stored. And then that indicates where they would be on the ship diagram.
Okay. Is that the same cargo cluster that indicates an issue?
When you query that and click that particular problem, it focuses on the third colony ring, and lights indicate about 3/4 of that ring flashing red.
And I'm gonna like stand back with my hand up, like, what in the name of the universe is going on?
What does that red mean?
Nothing good. What does it like? So you said that there were specific lights for like the atmosphere and everything. What kind of a alarm pattern is this?
As far as you can tell, it's a problem. It's a tension, caution, warning. There's a problem with about 3/4 of that ring.
Are
I
there any
don't.
tombs there?
There's a lot of tombs there.
Yeah, and a lot of people in them.
Can we take a look at the AI and see if they've woken anybody else up? I mean, there must have been a command issued to wake us up. Can we search for that command, see what happened?
Sure, and I'll start like digging through the menus. This isn't something I would have normally looked. I don't think it's something I would have normally looked for, but I know how to look in systems.
Give me a sysop roll.
Sysop. Oh, good. I did put stuff in this. 21, which is a hard success.
Okay, it doesn't take cast too long to get into there to the query of the history and the waking up. There's a report generated. It clicks on it, the AI brings it up. It indicates essentially emergency protocol, selecting a pod 272. And there's a little green field next to it indicating presence of crew member in pod 272.
Is there a previous waking before pod 272?
Going through the history, there is a previous waking. It's about 48 hours prior. It says as general emergency procedure, indicating 4 pods that were indicated, one of which was 272.
I'm going to like hover over that. 2 days ago. 2 days ago was when the rest of the crew and I were woken up.
Well, that's something.
That's something.
But the other pods aren't awake? They haven't opened up any others?
No. The most recent one was us.
Okay.
And I don't think we should wake that in case there's a hull breach or something going on in there to depressurize that ring. It'd kill them instantly.
More people could just complicate the situation as well.
There's that.
I like this. Yeah, I agree.
Is there any kind of, while I'm in the system, is there any kind of timeline, or like any timestamps on a damage report to indicate maybe a chain of events of what went down when and what actions were taken?
Tracing through, the initial damage report was hull breach and magnetic field generator with the first damage system, basically. And then after that, the other ones, let's see. After that would be navigation would be the next error in the list as far as the timeline goes. Then after that would be, there's a whole lot of logs for the corruption with the pods. Let me get the actual phrasing of that, which is segment corruption in the pods in the colony ring. There's a lot of those reports, stacking reports of a lot of different incidents within the pods, not just one incident. It looks like there's maybe 20, 30 incidents all kind of stacked together there over a period of time.
What kind of incidents are there? Are they?
Segment corruption is what the error report says. It's unclear what the problem is.
What does segment corruption mean to me, looking at it as someone who's been trained in this?
Deactivation is your best guess.
Deactivation, like
breach or deactivation of those systems within those pods.
Okay.
Now the last error report is the engine, the nuclear engine containment is the very final of the errors. Somewhere in there buried is the life support problems, kind of buried in the midst of all that.
So looking at all of this data, could I like trace out trace out a path of what happened. Like there was the whole breach up in the front with the magnetic. The magnetic generator shut down. Something happened in here with navigation. The navigation panel got smashed in. Something happened in the pod. Something happened in the cargo, and then something happened in the engine. It's like a progression going back, basically.
Yes, that follows.
Okay, so I'm going to pass that along to the other three and say you said there was no way to trail this, but there's a trail through the ship with the damage logs, and I'll explain to them what I saw.
I'm suddenly very concerned about the segment corruption.
We should probably wait. Has the armory been impeded along its journey?
I don't know. I know approximately where your armory should be, but
I have something just to posit to the rest of you. We found an arm with plants growing out of it, plants that move growing out of it. It could be a scenario where there may be plants growing out of bodies in pods.
Wait, you guys never addressed that information. This is just me, Aaron. You guys never addressed that information prior to this? We saw roots growing out of an arm?
No, we did. We talked about it at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
and I blurted out with, it belonged to my boss, the lead of my crew.
All right. Well, as John, I will act not surprised.
Fair enough.
I'm just saying I don't know if that's the case, but it could be.
It could be. But we won't know unless we go and look.
What's the next step, Cast?
I think that we need to get the navigation logs. And in order to get that, I need to fix navigation. So I would like to solve that problem before we go and deal with the pods, because that is a quick fix. That's a plug and play.
So does Cast want to unplug it first and then go get the spare parts, or get the spare parts first, then come back and fix it?
I'll unplug it so that I know exactly what parts I need to go and get.
Okay. Now give me a sanity roll.
Why? When am I going to learn to not answer those questions? 95.
Oof.
So,
not a fumble, but damn close.
It's a standard procedure where you grab the terminal, you unhook it, you disconnect the power source and whatnot, and as you're just glancing at this terminal, the impact, it looks like fists, mate. It's fists. It's punching. It's fists. You're absolutely certain there's fists, and you can see someone punching it. You can see the motion of mother, your mom, banging both fists down on this terminal, and you can hear someone yelling, "Stop, stop, stop," as mother is smashing it. Mother turns to look. You can see mother's face, and as you remember seeing mother's face, and something's wrong with her eyes. It's a crazy look in her eyes, and you hear the sound of the rivet gun, and you see mother's arm detach, and you lose 3 sanity.
Yay.
Let's see how we're doing. It's 9:45. I think. What do you guys think? This seems like a good moment to wrap for the evening.
We keep ending it. We keep ending on Cass's trauma. Sure, why not?
So we will end our story here, and sadly, we have not concluded with this one shot.
Sadly, come on.
Yeah, right.
This is great.
I'm not done with John Ralphio Macchio.
I'm having way too much fun as my little NB Bean.
We are not done with any of these 4 characters as they are digging deeper and deeper into the story, the mystery behind Arc 105. My name is Thomas. I've been your keeper. These great fellows are the Chaos Agents, playing 4 characters specifically for this Call of Cthulhu scenario in space. We'll be back next week. They'll be back next week. I probably will be. We will see how that goes. If anything else we need to talk about, any other announcements other than our schedule?
I think that's everything.
Okay. So for scheduling purposes, on Saturday on this channel, 6 p.m., we do a Call of Cthulhu game, which is running the Masks of Nyarlathotep storyline. Ezra is the keeper for that. Our characters are deep in the middle of lots of trouble and making very little headway, but it's a fun, crazy group, fun time. That's Saturday. On Monday, Aaron from this show is running a game of Rick and Morty versus D&D. It'll be their 5th session, I think.
And make her willing, the final one.
Part 4 of 50 is what I.
No.
There's going to be special music. There's going to be dancing. There's going to be a whole scene. Who knows? It's going to be great. So Monday, 7 p.m. will be Rick and Morty versus D&D, and then a week from today, back at our usual time of 7 p.m., there'll be this show, The Chaos Agents, and we may finish the story, God willing, or Thomas may return from wherever he's hiding and decide to do the dramatic fight that we have on.
We are in the middle of a fight on our D&D game.
Yeah, and I still have the inspiration that we're carrying over from that, because it was specifically such a climactic battle that we got to carry over all the inspiration from that.
Sure.
What better time to blue ball people?
So
I mean, Ruckus has waited this long.
Yeah, another week.
He's patient.
So that's it. Thank you for all joining us. It's been I love doing this. This is a great cast. I love playing with these guys. We're telling a fun story. I've enjoyed this tremendously, being Thomas for the evening, and hope I will see you next week. But I'm sure they will as well. So take care, everybody, and good night.